good morning. Very good morning. Welcome to Why in the Morning, and I'm all excited to join you this beautiful day. I say a good day starts in the morning, so we are here to make sure that you have a good one because we are all set with a great show, great conversations just for you. Speak of politics, speak of career, speak of what's happening around. We got you covered. My name is Stephanie Ayeta, and you can find me on social media at Stephanie Ayeta. But most importantly, where you can talk to us is at Y254 channel using the hashtag Why in the Morning. Where we'll be posting a question and we'll be waiting for your answer on that. And I'm not alone, never alone, joined by my awesome co-host, Brian Sakwa.
Yes, good morning to you, Steph. How are you?
Good morning. I'm great. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Good to be here. Yeah,
See.
after a long weekend. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, and good morning to you as well back at home. Thank you so much for tuning in. Like Stephanie has said, today is going to be an interesting show. On 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. today, we'll be talking about matters employment and literally the unemployment menace. How can we combat it? Because recently, in fact, 3 days ago now, we are entering, I think, the second day or the third day, the government announced employment job opportunities for Kenyans in Qatar. And of course, we've seen a lot of drama just unfolding in our eyes. So today, I think the final set of it. But according to the Federation of Kenya Employers, says unemployment rate in Kenya of youth aged between 15 to 34 years is 67%, and this is the highest unemployment rate in the country, which has an overall unemployment rate of 12.7%. And some of the reasons why there's high unemployment rate in the country include lack of skills. They're saying over 1 million Kenyan people enter the labor market each year without skills. So that's another reason why there's unemployment. But then they're mentioning things like unemployment, poverty, skill gap between people graduating or students graduating from universities and coming outside here to get opportunities. So there's a lot in between, but then that's literally the topic we'll be covering towards 9 a.m. to 10 a.m.
Yeah, it's an amazing, interesting, very interesting topic because last week, speaking of the weekend, I had the opportunity to be at a summit, and it was an employability summit, and they were talking about that particular topic. So employability in Africa, and a lot of people saying that there's a skill gap between what the industry is expecting and what they're getting. So there's some missing link somewhere. And and we also had a lot of the young people who are looking for employment, some in the universities, some have not been in employment since, like I met someone who had not been in employment since COVID, that's 2020. That's give or take 4 years now. I was asking him, how are you surviving? Like, how are you making it? And he said, you just have to make something, do something. Do not just stay. Do not just feel sorry for yourself. You need to get out there and make it work for yourself.
Right.
And what these employers were saying, and something that really stuck with me, was a lady. She's called Phoebe. She said what she looks out for is the attitudes.
Right.
She said everyone has skills. You can get people who have skills. You can get someone who has the education, but when you get someone who has this but with a wrong attitude, you can't work with them, especially for her company because she's in the service industry.
Right.
So attitude is everything. So she was saying that many young people she's had, or some young people have had bad attitude. So for her, when she calls for recommendation from the organizer of that event, is someone who does linking jobs to people. So when she asks for recommendation, she asks for someone who has good attitude. She doesn't even look at the qualifications first.
Yeah.
So I think that really stood out for me because it's something that we overlook. And, not just that, she said, when you get opportunities as a young person, for the young people, when you go out there, I'm forgetting stand out, make it count, and
Yeah.
forgetting the other one.
Right.
So whatever you do, make sure that you have something that's
Mhm.
really unique from
Right.
what others have. What is it about you that people will remember? Say,
Yeah.
for instance, it's a networking event. How will
Yeah.
people remember you after that? It's not about getting all the numbers from all the great people that are there. Will they even remember you after that event? So
Yeah.
stand out,
Right.
make sure that there's something unique about you, and then be very intentional. So have a goal towards something, and then now make it count. Whatever you do, make it count.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that
Right.
those are some of the
Interesting.
things that really.
I think those are some of the things that are taught in those, are you looking for a job? Do you have the skills? Have you networked? Do you have experience? I think
Yeah,
that's an
absolutely.
interesting insight. But still, let me just speak on your reactions on this, and then we
Uh-huh.
can read the comments a little bit, and then we proceed. But
Okay.
yeah, interact with us. I forgot to say my name. My good name is Brian Sakwat, Brian Sanko 101. That's my handle as we proceed. So the government, through the Ministry of Labor, Steph, announced a 3-day interview for jobs in Qatar. I know you saw this. The opportunities include the technical and construction industries through Labor C's Alfred Mutua. He said the available jobs include nurses, waitresses, caregivers, drivers, cleaners, storekeepers, politicians. No, sorry, politicians. Beg your pardon, Mate. Electricians, masons, painters, welders, and plumbers, among others. Those in the hospitality industry will be having their interviews that began last week Friday, that was on 25th, to Sunday, October 27th. That was yesterday at KICC from 7 a.m. And this process is set to take 3 days. And he said the interviewers should carry their CVs, passport size photos, and then now passports. So from the comments, let me just read to you in just a bit. You see what Kenyans are reacting. Another person said, instead of creating jobs right here in Kenya, you're exporting Kenyans to another country. Another person said, Kenyans are living on the streets of Qatar. Another one said, you're taking Kenyan citizens to a fighting country. Another one says, why can't you, ati kuna serikali ingine ama ni hii tu? Okay. The other ones are really funny. But then I don't know what you think of the same stuff. Do you believe it's, because they said, they're going to create, in fact, they call it the better, I think it's bottom-up economic transformation agenda, yeah? They're saying to make, I think, over 1-point-something million jobs, but, here they are exporting. The opportunity, I said, it's 3,000 opportunities for the mentioned positions to
The
Qatar.
Kenyans.
Yeah.
Wow, what's my take? On one hand, I agree with what some Kenyans are saying, that the opportunities should be here, because we want to build our nation, our country, and we want to have, it's more convenient when you work at home, unless you're really having a lucrative job that's taking you out there.
Yeah.
Let's say a waitress job. I don't know. I don't think in Qatar it might pay as much, because, well, it'll pay better than Kenya, of course, but considering other factors, like the cost of living there, it's more expensive than here. So you might get someone getting, let's say, 100,000, but with that 100,000, they're expected to pay for the accommodation, not unless the hotel is covering for the accommodation. And if they're covering for the accommodation, then you won't get a house that's really pleasing for you to stay. It may just be a cube and you're sharing it with someone. You know, the kind of accommodations probably the hotels would provide. And if you're living outside, then you'd pay as much as almost 50,000 for you to. So what do you have left? So and your family, I'm imagining back at home, is also expecting you to help them. So it's not as comfortable for someone unless you're having, again, a lucrative job. Let's say you're going to be a doctor and you're going to work in Qatar, so you're going to be paid like an expert, in a certain field, so you'll get more money. But again, looking at the rate of unemployment in the country and the rate of desperation, I've just said someone has stayed for 4 years without any formal employment, just hustling. I don't really love to use the word hustling, But yeah,
Yeah.
so for someone like that, that would be an opportunity for them to actually just step out and maybe grow. You can
Yeah.
start as a waitress and maybe find your way into something else
Yeah.
while you're at Qatar, or you might even migrate to Dubai. You know, with Qatar and Dubai, I think I feel like Dubai has better opportunities than Qatar,
Right.
if you ask me. But now you might find your way
Yeah.
to Dubai while you're there, and a better job. So I think it's a, at least it's a
Yeah.
step in the right direction. At least
Okay.
they're doing something. It might
Right.
not be what we want, but it's something. Someone is
Yeah.
getting an opportunity to go out there and make a living for themselves. So
Yeah. Sure. Sure. Sure.
yeah, something
Yeah.
we can look at the positive.
Right.
Kidogo too. I
Yeah.
know we complain, but kidogo we can
You
look
know,
at the
they say
positive.
brain drain, sijui, but then there's so many things as well, Pia, that come out when you're taken outside country.
Yeah.
And then the disclaimers in these opportunities is they're not paying for your flight.
You
Yeah.
sort yourself out.
Yes, but then I was watching the interview that CS Labour Alfred Mutua had with Jeff and Olive. He said that there's people who are disqualified for even having a beard. If you can, yes, they're saying. I remember him saying, quote unquote, unataka kuingia kazi ya restaurant na uko na ndevu, huwezi ingia, you know. So they said they considered very tiny, minute things to disqualify people, like dreadlocks. So you're not shaving in a certain kind of way. But then the thing is, people are scammed and conned. They even, you know, DCI was involved. Yeah.
In the
Yes, at KICC, like it was a big alert,
Oh,
literally.
no.
Yeah.
that's
So
sad.
people were scammed because over 20,000 people turned up for the opportunities,
Oh,
and less
just
than
look at
yes,
the kind of
Yes.
people, the number of people who are
Yes.
looking for employment.
and literally less than 2,000, I'm sure, will make it to the final. Yeah.
I'm imagining they're looking for 3,000 people, right? The opportunities are for 3,000 people.
Yeah.
20,000 turn up.
But then, Steph, also
17,000
when
will
you
be
look at
turned
it,
down.
who is looking for 3,000 people in another country? Does that math?
It
When you look
doesn't
at
add up.
even the immigration, what flight is this? Are they going on a bus flight?
Wanaenda
Trust
in
me, do
cohorts.
your research. Is it possible for a country to look for 3,000 laborers in a
It's a
country?
lot. It's
I
a-
think that number is questionable, but for the sake of its
Well,
opportunities,
Benjamin,
yeah, the
our
question.
director says wanaenda meli.
Oh, wow. Because I'm also wondering, mnaenda na ndege gani? Is it the whole hata KQ pekee moja, hata direct flight from Kenya to US, I baby more than 300 people, literally. So mtaenda in shifts, as in waende Monday, waende Tuesday. But then also, Steph, you're looking for a job and you don't even have the money, first of all, to buy a shirt to go to that job. Where are you going to get the money for a flight? You know?
Fanya harambee.
Yeah.
It's
But then
crazy.
say that Harambee would have done it, and then you get money, you start a business right here in Kenya, and you flourish. It's a
lot.
dilemma,
It's
for
a
real.
lot.
It's a dilemma, yeah. When you look at it, so many things. There are so many red flags in that thing. And I saw in one of the discussions where the journalist was pointing out, and I think I agree to every inch. It's rushed because they're saying the opportunities are for November, December, you know, and then they're not paying for your flight. But then when CS Labour was asked if Kenyans will arrive there, how are they going to start their life from scratch? That's another question, yeah? Are you going to be taken to an agency that will cater for your accommodation? So like for you, Steph, if you're going there as a journalist, of course you have your own thing, yeah? You land, you know where to stay, you have money to book a hotel. But now a cleaner or a waiter,
Where do you start?
unless that company is giving you a hostel or somebody is
accommodation.
hosting you, yeah?
Unless you go, you know, when you sign the contract, you know that like you're going as they give you accommodation there.
Yeah.
Then otherwise it doesn't make sense. So I think that's, you know, it needs to be followed up until the very end, so that we know that these people actually made it to Qatar and this
Yeah.
kind of businesses,
Right.
working for this kind of businesses, if it's the hotels and the other things that they've mentioned.
For
Right?
nurses, I think it's sensible, kidogo.
Yeah.
Because you know, nurses, you're either going to a hospital direct or to a home care center.
Yeah. So yeah, you know, for nurses it's better and
Yeah.
a bit more direct. So, oof, that's
It's been a lot. It's been a
It's
jammed
something.
up weekend, you know.
yeah. What stood out for you? What else stood out for you?
I think that's what stood out for me, and the Rigiji, you know, case where So apparently, in the lawyers or the judges that are hearing his case, so they discovered that one of the judges is a student of Interior Cabinet Secretary Kindiki. So that disqualifies her from sitting on that bench. And then one of the judges is close allies with Speaker of the Senate, Amason Kingi, right? So that again is an unfair case. And then the other one is related to Soipan. There's a way Cabinet Secretary Defense now who is friends with the president, right? So again, it shows that these people had against the DP. So they're calling, the word is recusal. So the deputy president is calling for the recusal or recasting of the judges. So at first the case was, let's hear if these judges that were appointed by the Deputy Chief Justice, that was Philomena Mwilu, qualify to do the hearing. But now the findings are coming up and it's interesting. So it looks like somebody knew something that we had no idea. So this is an interesting development that stood out for me. I was laughing with one of my friends who was telling me, your family got you if your other people don't got you.
You know, it's like we are doing a series, like a movie. We need to find a title for it, because
Shocking.
it's something. But I think if I was in the same shoes, I'd also be worried, because if there's no one for me really, and everyone, I feel like lied to somehow to the president, one or the other, or what is the name?
Speaker of the Senate, yeah.
No, not the speaker. But okay, my boss here. But as long as you're not for me, or fair rather, I'd feel threatened. So that's quite something. Whew, it's a lot. But anyway.
Yeah, that stood out for me. What stood out for you?
So what stood out for me? Interesting. A lot. Let me start with what happened to I don't know why today names are just disappearing on me. The activist who has been abducted.
Boniface Mwangi.
Oh, yeah. So he has been allegedly abducted. That was the wife wrote on her social that he was taken from his home in somewhere in, is it Machakos?
Yeah.
Machakos, yeah. So he was taken forcefully. So claiming that it's an abduction, and so far he's not been released. So I've seen a lot of hashtag, a lot of posts from most of the celebrities saying that they should free Boniface Mwangi. And just a few days before that, I think 2 days before that, there's also the hashtag that has been going around, free Aoko. So Aoko has been awkwardly silent because she's ever speaking.
I texted her on WhatsApp, she didn't respond.
Oh, you have her number?
Yeah, I know Oko personally. Jesus, I forgot to say that.
Oh, okay.
I know Oko personally. There's a time I was moderating an event in 2021. It was something to do with Gender Youth Dialogue at University of Nairobi. And she was in the panel. She was among the panelists, and karibu tupigwe mimi na yeye.
Kwa nini?
The salvos and the sentiments she had against the feminists. And as a moderator, you have to protect at least. So, yeah. So you know her personally. We are very close friends. She didn't respond. She responds sometimes. She calls sometimes.
Wow.
So when you said she's disappeared, scary.
People have been worried because she's been silent, and she's not everyone's favorite, not everyone's cup of tea. But people are saying that it's not right. No matter what what you say or your character and everything, abduction is not the answer. And people are saying we should not go back to the Moi era that was there, because now people are feeling that there's a lot of abductions of people, and some people have been missing and still never been found till now. So there's a lot of questions and a lot of hashtags. So
yeah, but the details she has, I don't think if a politician knew.
But
you have this depth of details about their business on the other side. For them to let you go scot-free, I think.
I don't know, because
Yeah.
some people are saying it's you know, you can go off by saying it's propaganda,
Yeah.
because you know, I don't really think Alco gives receipts. She only
Yeah.
gives her word, you know, and
Mm.
she says, I've been told by
Yeah.
either someone from DCI, or I've been told by someone
Yeah.
from here, a reliable source. So it's just
Mm.
her information against yours. So I don't know.
Yeah.
And that's defamation, really, yes. But
Right.
that doesn't warrant someone to be abducted or taken without
Right.
cause. You need to follow the process of justice,
Yeah.
to get this person behind bars. Because many times she wrote and said, I don't know, I don't feel safe in my house.
Yeah.
So, yeah, something
Yeah,
of
she
that
said her
sort.
network was gagged, like the signal keeps on. You know, what I learned is, because 2 weeks ago, there's one of my neighbors who was arrested by the DCI, and I was like just 2 doors from the floor that I stayed. So what they did is, before, when these people are coming to your house, literally the signal dies down. You can't, messages can't go, you can't receive phone calls, and then in less than 2 seconds, you hear a knock on your door.
Wow.
You go there and it's 3 or 4 officers and they're handcuffing you. You will speak while you're in the car, you know. So I don't know how they do it, but yeah, that's how it is. So when she said signals and network is depreciating, you know that you're being monitored by, I think they're called the NIS, and now they're saying, because yesterday Martha Karua said in the bite that they played, they said there's a syndicate of abductors, and they said they're army officers, allegedly, because I don't know if it's proven, but you know Martha Karua also has receipts. Before she comes on camera to say something, she knows 1, 2, 3. She
Yeah.
said the people that are abducting Kenyans are based at Karen and others at Ole Polos.
Wow.
And there are army officers and police that are allied to, allegedly, the president's community. That's what she said in that bite that was on in one of the main stations right here. So they're saying the people perpetrating these abductions and being used to abduct Kenyans are police.
Wow.
So it's worrying, I think. It's worrying.
Where it's unfortunate.
Allegedly, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if that's the
Yeah.
case, really, then where's where's the past people's freedom?
Yeah.
It's worrying, as you've said, but it also needs to stop the
Yeah.
abductions.
And
And
the
if it's an
killings.
arrest, then let it
Oh,
be
yeah.
an arrest, because I know, is it Ivy? Just Ivy, you know, posted Boniface Mwangi,
Yeah.
and you know, giving details of saying that he was abducted at his home, and asking people to push the hashtag that he should be released. And then someone from the comment section said, and you know, people have different opinions, and it's fine. So what he said was that, what is the difference between, you know,
Yeah.
abduction and the rule of law being followed as an arrest?
Yeah.
You know, because he was alleging, what he was alluding to is that Boniface Mwangi was arrested and not abducted. So now, what people said on to respond to him was that an arrest is, you know, you'd know where your person is being arrested, what they're
Yeah.
being charged for. You'll be told, Sakwa, you're being arrested for this
For
and
this
that,
and that, yeah.
and then you'd be taken in, and you know, the charges laid
You're
against you.
processed, yeah.
You
And in
know,
fact, allowed to even contact a lawyer.
a lawyer,
Yeah.
you know, and get all that. So why are we not following the due process of the law if it's an arrest? And I also understand that he's been charged now for incitement. So now
Yeah.
it's been made to look like an arrest.
Right.
I'd say. Now, I don't know the mode in which he was taken. Maybe
Yeah.
it was an arrest,
But if
maybe
you're
it was an
ambushed
abduction.
with people
So, yeah.
unawares at 7 a.m., that's an abduction. Man. Do you know
So-
what he tweeted about? He tweeted about Occupy Stanchat, the marathon that was happening yesterday.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
he was, now the charges against him is on incitement to occupy Stanchat. So he's being charged for incitement to occupy Stanchat. So I think the authorities or the government is worried or scared that, the term occupy takes you back to June 25th. Was it
Yeah.
25th? Yeah. So I think that got them.
Right.
And well, we will see how that unveils itself.
Right.
So something else that stood out for me, and this is on a light one,
Yeah.
I saw that Prezo, we all know Prezo the musician,
Right.
he got saved.
Oh.
Now let me just get
Wow.
that story.
That's good news.
Uh,
El Presidente, CMB.
yes, so El
Okay.
Presidente, the one and only. So here, where is it? So Prezo says goodbye to secular music, devotes life to Christ, and he was speaking. Okay, he said that this at ECC. So he gave his life to Christ at ECC Nairobi with the help of Reverend Lucy Natasha.
Hi. Lucy Natasha is in the but anyways, yeah. Sitaki kusema, you know.
No, it's your reaction for me. I am curious.
Good tuendelee,
To
tuendelee
songa hiyo
tutafika.
ni behind
Yeah.
behind the scenes. We
Yeah.
might look into that later on. So Trevor amemwandikia nice one. Kuna mtu amemfunza mchezo wa town. Naibo should have done the same. So I don't know what that even means.
That's funny because Naibo is the guy mwenye ameimba hii song inaitwaje. It's a very famous track, but he disappeared akaenda Stato akaacha music, but then amerudi.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So ndo anasema naibu. Okay, all right, now I get it. So he's saying that it's a good comeback.
Yeah.
So Naibo should have used the same strategy to get back to the game.
Yes.
Okay, so Trevor has read between the lines for, but kuna mwingine Nika, the queen, anamwambia glory to God. Can Mulunda and none can pluck us from God's hand. Ooh, it's something. But I really say
Yeah.
nothing away from Prezo, because yesterday I had the privilege of hosting JC Circle to
Right.
sit in for Miriam Masava, and we were talking about faith, the
Yeah.
journey of faith,
Mm.
and what we were saying, or the main message was that no matter the circumstance that people are going through, because some of the comments we got from our viewers was someone said he's very depressed and he feels like he's giving up on life. Someone else said he's lost his job, he's been locked out of his house. Another one had a similar kind of story. He said he has been struggling but holding on in there, but nothing ever seems to work out.
Yeah.
And then another person, it was an issue to do with the relationship that he had. Some people have different problems. So, how do you stay in faith even
Right.
through that? So the guest minister that came, told people that you should just keep your eyes on Jesus no matter what you're going through. Because he's the author and finisher of our faith. So he helps you through it. You walk with Jesus through whatever circumstance you're going through. And, faith is the currency that God understands. You know how we understand money up in here? You can't go to someone and tell them, give me two nipatie nyanya mbili, or someone, you have to pay for it. Utaambia, oh, thank you, and then you move with it. Thank you will not pay for that bill. You can't tell your landlord, oh, thanks, but I think you're a good person, and then they forget that you need to pay them. So for us, money is the currency that we understand. So for God, it's the currency. The currency is faith.
Right.
Because the word says, you can't please God unless you have faith. So so basically it was about faith and coming back to Christ, like what I hope that Prezo has genuinely done.
I hope.
Because we
the
don't,
same way.
again, it's really
Because I'm
personal.
just seeing the comment after. I've checked his IG shortly. So he posted that photo. I think he was signing something. Reverend Lucy Natasha is standing behind him. And then let me just read to you because I'm there.
Please do.
And people are commenting with laughing emoji. So Reverend Lucy Nasha commented, God's continued blessings upon you, Prezo. And then Prezo responded, a big amen to that, Rev, a big amen. And then now, but then we're also seeing, I think, an outburst of celebrities give their life to Christ. You remember Michelle Ntalami, the beautiful Michelle Ntalami and her story?
Yeah.
You know, she's finally, given her life to Christ. Who else gave her life to Christ? Amani,
Yeah,
Amani was a
it's been
symbol.
a while for Amani, yeah.
Yeah, she was a symbol of Kapuka music way back when I was at Fountain Gate. Who would have known that she'd eventually end up giving her life to Christ?
Yeah.
In fact, I heard in her story that, the dad and the mom were bishops.
Wow.
Yes, but the daughter was a symbol of the mainstream music, Just go and check out, like, Amani was a symbol of Kenyan Kapuka music, yeah?
Yeah, she was.
So it's interesting to see celebrities giving their life to Christ. I think who else am I expecting? I think Sanapei Tande will either do it or never. Sanapei Tande, yes. Because Sanapei Tande also, when you talk about the history of Kapuka music and the females that have set literally part of the culture of how that music genre evolved, Sanapei Tande, Amani, there's this chick anajitanani, Sheila Manyiga. Funny thing, most of them are media personalities as well as singers. They have a history even with Prezo, this CMB Prezo, when Kapuka music was getting backed in Kenya. Yeah. So I can't wait to see Sanapei Tande. I'm sure she knows a lot about, the Kenyan music scene in the early 2000s and late 2000s as well.
She does. It's always
And then
great
being on
to
radio,
see.
remember Sana was on radio, was on Kiss. She was a voice for
A
the
great
station.
voice, yeah.
Still, Sheila Manyiga was also on radio, a voice, very influential people.
Yeah, amazing media personalities we had. So yeah, we see it's great to give your life to Christ, but it's great to also be genuine about it so that you don't lose it. Also, something else that I've seen, Nikita Kering, I don't know. There's a song she released and it looks very controversial.
Yeah.
And I'm trying not to look at it.
Yeah. Is it the one she's in a casket?
Yeah, I'm trying not to overlook it, but there's no other way that I'm not overlooking it. Because how do you explain? She really struggled. I feel like she really struggled to explain why she was in a casket in that song.
Yeah.
And because the video I saw of her explaining, I actually came to see it on TikTok. And, I have nothing against Nikita Kering. I think she's one of the very great, talented Kenyan musicians of our time. But seeing that, I don't know, maybe because I don't want to look too spiritual, but they look to me like it's a initiation due to lack of a better word. Because how do you explain all celebrities doing almost the same thing? Celebrities of a certain caliber, when they reach a certain caliber, they have to do certain thing for them to.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you believe it's a ritual initiation or something? Because that excerpt is from her video the song is called Onya. Onya or Onyu, the way she pronounces it in her accent, yeah? Onya or Onyu, yeah?
Yeah.
So that part where she's in a casket and, the dead Nikita Kering, I think it's symbolic. Also when you compare
that's what she said, because she said it's part of her EP. Her EP will explain the story better. Speaks of now, I think the dead Nikita Kering now
rebirthing or
a
being
rebirth
reborn.
or something of that sort.
And then there's a fire. There's one of the cars I think that's on fire, and then she does the flower thing. I think that video is similar to, there's a song by Iggy Azalea where she's in a church. I think it's called, I think she's praying to some sort of imaginary, Freemasonic or Illuminati god. If you check Iggy Azalea or something, yeah. So there's like a bishop on the other side listening to her, but then she's confessing and sending her prayers to that person so that it gets answered. And then there's a similar part where there's a casket burning, then there's another her burning, and then like it's that Freemasonic fire circle that you're saying, yeah.
For me,
So I think it means something.
it's something
It
for
means something, yeah.
kila mtu ako na interpretation yake.
Yeah.
Some people believe that it's just symbolic. It's what she just explained. It's part of her music. Some people say it's as public stunt, like what my director thinks. But you know, when you have such fame like Nikita Kering, you don't need
Yeah.
a public stunt. When you have such fame
Right.
like Diamond Platinums, you don't need a public stunt.
Like Tyler,
When you
this
have such fame
Chikwa.
like Calligraph Jones, you
This
do not
chick,
need a public stand. That's
yeah.
usually for upcoming artists who want to make
Right.
kufanya watu waongee, but you don't really need that. So I'm really not buying that one. Or and you know, it could be one now people who are spiritual are saying that it's a ritual, because nowadays
Yeah.
we awake to the fact that there's Illuminati. I don't know if some people still don't believe Illuminati exists.
Or Freemason. maybe.
There's Freemasonry.
Oh.
There's a lot. So if you believe in God, then you also believe that the devil is not seated down. But we're not
Yeah.
really accusing anyone of anything. We're just saying that those are some of the possibilities that are there. Anyway.
You know, there's usually interpretations of a lot of things. I think in creativity, in art, they call it what? There's a name. It's called euphemia. Euphemism also, I think, even in literature, where you're using a certain stance to either emphasize on a certain aspect of life or tone it down. So I think that is euphemia plus metaphoric description plus, you know, euphemism. So I'm sure she knows, because even for music writers and even just other film directors, they know these things, you know. They're like, oh, you want to tell a story about heartbreak? How about you tell about a heartbreak with somebody dying and you dying, and then you're being rebirthed after your healing. So they use this symbolic, you know, but those again are like Freemasonic symbols of heartbreak. But you can't understand it until you understand things like euphemia and metaphorical, yeah.
Mambo ni mingi, mambo ni mo.
Yeah.
We-
So
okay.
they push it as art. That's art.
So we just need to be more alert on things that are happening around us. Anyway, moving on from that. Jana kulikuwa na game.
Yeah, Arsenal.
Yes.
Mini Manchester, so your story sijui kabisa.
I'm seeing, but there was also a menu. So I'm seeing there was Crystal Palace and versus Tottenham. So
Yeah.
Crystal Palace got 1, Tottenham 0. Chelsea and Newcastle. So Chelsea 2, Newcastle 1. West Ham and Manu. Manu mulishindwa. My goodness. West Ham 2, Manu 1. Hello, Manu. And finally, Arsenal and Liverpool, who drew out two goals each. That was
Yeah.
something.
Mhm.
Yeah, so there's that, and there's also another story from our neighbors. So what's happening in Sudan? Yesterday I saw a very disturbing tweet about what's going on in Sudan, but I'll just read this one first. So Sudan RSF attack on villages leaves at least 124 people dead, activists say. So the Sudan paramilitary rapid support forces, that is the RSF, killed at least 124 people in a village in El Gezira state on Friday. Activists said in one of the deadliest incidents of an 18-month war and largest in a spate of attacks in the state. So, following the surrender of high-ranking RSF officer Abuagla Kekal to the army last Sunday, pro-democracy activists said the RSF has carried out revenge attacks in the farming state where he comes from, killing and detaining civilians and displacing thousands. So things are not good in Sudan, and we pray for our neighbors. So make sure that when you pray for Sudan.
Yeah.
Now, the story that I saw on Sudan that is really heartbreaking, if it's true, because again I just saw it on X. It says over 130 Sudanese women committed mass suicide to avoid being raped by RSF militia. Imagine.
That's intense.
So it's very heartbreaking that suicide is the best option for women and girls. and girls for such a state. So you can imagine how bad the state is at. We might not know, the how dire it is because we're not there.
Yeah.
It's like the same thing that were happening in Kenya during post-election violence,
Yeah.
and people will just know or send prayers and everything, but they don't really know how the gravity of the situation. So this
Yeah.
is how dire and how bad it is that
Mhm.
130 Sudanese women commit mass suicide to avoid being raped by the RSF militia. It is so sad. It is so heartbreaking,
Yeah.
and let's be there for our brothers and
Yeah.
sisters in
That's really
Sudan. We pray for
unfortunate.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot happening, including the war in Ukraine, the
Mm.
Hezbollah versus, again, the USA has been mentioned. So there's a lot happening internationally. Just as the USA prepares itself for elections, I think right now there could be at 10 or 11 days to go. Yeah. So the campaigns are coming to a close. I don't know if Kamala Harris is going to be the next first female president of the USA. But then over the weekend, she was backed with Michelle Obama. Yes, Michelle Obama did an address. She backed him up. Who else? Obama. Yes, Obama came out and said something. And then they started now bringing in black actors. And then Beyonce at some point as well was on stage, endorsing Kamala Harris. So, I don't know. But I don't see Trump surviving or weathering the storm. I see Kamala Harris on the grounds that she says she's black. And
So
she's garnered that, support.
you know what? How how I'm also viewing it. Most numbers are with Kamala Harris, and she's most likely to win that election.
Yeah.
And neither for her, neither Trump, neither for her or Trump.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I don't really feel there's any one of them that really speaks to what I would want to see. But
Yeah.
I'm not an American citizen, so I will not
Yeah.
speak for that. And we wish them the best.
Yeah. Me, I
For
would have
still on
loved
that
Trump.
one, you'd have loved Trump.
Yeah.
So you and Benja, same WhatsApp group.
Yeah.
To a Team Trump. But why? Why would you have wanted Trump?
There's a lot of reasons that are really not TV friendly.
Wow.
But yeah. But yeah, I think Trump, Trump is against the LGBTQ. He's not even against his manifesto. And then he's a little bit more, I think he considers himself as a conservative or a leftist, because for them, they consider if you're a Republican, it's either right or a left. You're considered the blue and the red. That's how they call their time. They use it. The RNCs and the DNCs. So I think his manifesto speaks a lot of human rights advocacy. He's against abortions, the abortion law that, Kamala is, yes, she wants
Advocating.
females to be able to make decisions about,
Yeah.
whether to terminate a pregnancy or not. And that's literally murder. Anyways, if you make decisions, yeah, the pro-choice part, yeah. So there's so many things that Trump, I think. And then I think Trump loves Africa in as much as,
Does he love Africa?
he doesn't love,
Trump doesn't love Africa.
yeah.
For any
And
reason.
then we had our president go there. But then there was a meme, I think, during the Gen Zs that said if Trump would have gotten into office, all the evil deals that were signed between, man, I don't staki kuchoma, because your relationship with a ban. So the relationship between, and how, Kenyans are like, everything that we have in the country is being controlled by, you don't want to go there. And still on that, before you react, so the Senate says, I don't know if you saw that last week, Steph, where over 200,000 emails were sent to the Senate in terms of protesting against the 7-term limit
Oh,
that was
yes.
motion that was tabled by Nandi Senator Samson Cherargei. And Kenya said, nope, we don't want it and it should go. And then we also saw the president react. We saw, who else? There's this guy. The name is escaping.
So what did the president say?
The president said that there's no need to, stay in office for But I'm sure deep down.
According to the memes, people
Yeah.
are not buying. You know,
Yeah.
the mood that you get from the memes or Kenyans, some Kenyans,
Yeah.
they're not really buying that the president is not for the extension of the term limit.
Yeah.
Kuna mimi ingine nimeona I laughed. Ile unaenda kwa
Yeah.
you're a visitor somewhere and then watu wamepika chakula afu uko hivi kwa TV. So like you know the food is being unapatiwa food hivi unajifanya utaki food. Like it's
Yeah, until ukwambie ndo hii chakula, ndo hii.
Hey,
So you're like, oh, you're like
siko nataka lakini
also they're relating
later.
that to, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, I get that
Kenyans are
part.
creative,
Okay.
bwana. But anyway, yeah.
I get that part.
So that's
Yeah,
that.
I'm also feeling the same. Deep down, you're like, najua tunataka hii kitu lakini juu of the tension in the country, wacha tuseme tu hatutaki.
But me, I'd
Yeah.
wonder why
Yeah.
a leader
But why should,
would
why should
do
you
that.
stay? Yeah.
Like, why would
14 years? No way.
a leader just come and decide to want to change the constitution? Why would you just want to come and extend to 7 term? And
Yeah.
someone was giving a lame excuse that that's enough time for them to achieve what they're supposed to do, to
Yeah.
perform their duties. 5 years is not enough. I'm like, 5
Yeah.
years is more than enough. Like 1 year would be enough. you
In
know,
fact, there's somebody
if you
who said,
tried.
yeah, there's somebody who said it's only 2 years and Kenyans are like, we are like, please to Shuke. It's 2 years for them in office, but it looks like it's already 5 and we are heading to the 6th one. So what if you add even now those 7? See, people will alight and, you know, go to another country. In fact, there's an artist who did a song. I think if you listen to Anijita Malcolm, something I saw he had been shared on one of the blogs. Your song inasema, can we take a break from Kenya for a minute? To end if possible Burundi. I'm like, where?
Tuchukue vacation tu sisi wote.
Yeah.
Because we need a vacation, guys.
Kidogo tu ile
Mimi naona to split.
a mental health
To
inaitwaje?
split,
Debriefing, yeah.
Wengine waende. See, African countries, we're all Africans. We
We
all
don't
love
need
each other.
visas,
We don't
you
need
know,
visas,
to
bwana.
go there.
They should remove visas. So, wengine waamue kwenda Uganda.
Yeah.
Nia. Wengine waende Tanzania. Wengine ndo Rwanda. Wengine ndo
Yeah.
Burundi. Wengine ndo
Wengine
Congo.
Nigeria.
Wengine
Oh.
Nigeria. Wengine
Nice.
South Africa. We just we
Many
leave
and
the
the South.
country.
Many I'd love
We
to go
make
to
sure
South
that
Africa.
no one is in the country to just the country to just
Ibaki tu.
breathe. You breathe.
Ipumue, ime
Alafu
detoxify.
turudi juu after 2 weeks. No, not even long sana. After 2 weeks we get back and
Yeah.
get things.
Me I'd love to go to South Africa kidogo. Nifunze hizo amapiano zao. Na kusema, where now we've arrived. We've just arrived here from Kenya. We are ready, you know. I like to.
You said it so well. I love the South
God.
African accent.
Yeah,
I think they speak so well. I love how they say friend.
Who's your
They call
friend?
everyone friend.
Who's your friend? Did you just do
Friend,
it?
are you-
Look at you.
Friend, are you coming? Are you coming with me? Like they do
Yeah.
not know. Wow, I love
Yeah.
South Africans. I think
Yeah,
if
Tundako.
there was a country in Africa that I would want to visit,
To migrate to.
I'd want South Africa. And I'm torn between Nigeria and Rwanda.
Yeah. Rwanda is just
I'd
here.
want-
Rwanda utaenda na bus hapo unaweza.
But I've never been to Rwanda, interestingly enough. I don't know why. I think before mwaka ishe, niamue tu niende vacation to Rwanda. You know, Rwanda you
Yeah.
can just take a bus. You know, but
Ama
even at a
nduthi.
flight si mbaya because it's just here. Hata bwana, you know, I think Rwanda is so beautiful and Rwanda has really invested in its country. What I
Yeah.
really love about it, KICCL, it's called the Convention Center. It's such a great place because I've seen
Yeah.
pictures and I've also been told about it.
Yeah.
It's such a great place. They've really invested in it so much. Their halls are big. They're equipped so well. And that's why you'd get many countries when they're holding forums for Africa, they'd prefer to go to Rwanda.
Yeah.
You know, and it's interconnected with the hotel. So if you're staying, I don't know if it's Hilton, Serena, one of those 5-star hotels.
Okay.
So it's connected. So you get from your hotel, you just go straight right into the building without even having to go out
Yeah.
and whatnot. So they've really invested in their country. The
Yeah.
city is the cleanest.
Right.
Rwanda is the cleanest country. It's not just in the city, but also in the villages. Like unaweza fikiria ni Nairobi peke yake ni safi. No, ukienda Makueni uko ndani, ukienda
Right.
Kisii, ukienda Bungoma, kwote ni kusafi. Like
Right.
it's standard. They have like a national day for cleaning, and even the president goes out to do the cleaning
Yeah.
himself. So that's really leadership at the forefront. That's how you see true leadership, and that's how you see that they've been
Yeah.
able to maintain it. It's part of their culture,
Yeah.
kind of thing. So I think Rwanda is beautiful.
It's good, yeah.
And why I love Nigeria, I think because I think I grew up watching a lot of Nigerian movies
Yeah.
and identify with many. Now I don't watch Nigerian movies.
The Aki and
Sorry,
Popo, you know.
sorry, no, but
The two stubborn
they're still in my
Bilikimos,
heart.
yeah.
I love the accent. I know
Um,
a few people that I follow, influencers and public figures that are really awesome in
Yeah.
Nigeria that I'd just want to meet. But I also know Nigeria is too hot for my liking. But anyway, seeing is
We're
cooking
going
up
too
to
fast. Me love the jollof rice. I
And
like.
the
I'm just
jollof.
coming to test it today. That's what
You
I
know?
want. You know, I
But-
I have this Nigerian neighbor. Yeah. I don't know. He's always high 24/7.
Wow.
Uzuri sijamsema, as a niweke reinforcement. He's super tall, and then I don't know how he makes his money. He never gets out of the house. But then he has girls coming in. He's not getting out of the house, but the girls are just coming in. So I don't know where he gets these girls from. Is it in a website or they're coming from Nigeria? And then he calls me, Uncle, you're coming from work, okay? So today you look tired. I'm like, no, today I don't look tired. I just had a little bit of a long day. So I'll be cooking jollof rice over the weekend. So I think the jollof rice would attract me too.
It's good,
To
and
do
I
that,
think the
yeah.
fight for jollof rice between them and Ghana
Yeah.
has never been settled. So I've tasted Ghana jollof rice. It's
Wow, okay.
beautiful. It's tasty. It's amazing. I've
Yeah.
not tasted their Nigeria, so I will.
Me have tested the
When I taste-
Nigerian one, yeah.
When I taste both of them now, I'll be able to tell who the winner is between
Yeah.
Nigeria.
Trust me, the
and
Nigeria
Ghana.
will still remain.
But
Yeah.
they say that it originated from
From
Ghana.
Ghana,
So
yeah.
Ghana say they're the
They're
ones who are the pros
founders,
at it. So
pioneers of
we will
jollof.
confirm that. But the other
Yeah.
bad thing about Nigeria is the corruption. Because the
Yeah.
friend told me, at our airport, when you get to the airport, it's so bad. If you think Kenya has corruption, Nigeria
It's 2
is
times.
worse. Nigeria is ranked #1. That's
Yeah.
the most corrupt country.
That's Steph
in the
who is
world.
banning his visa to
That's
Nigeria.
how bad it is. Because I was being told, when we went there,
Yeah.
and when you get to the airport,
Yeah.
they actually ask you for money. Like they outrightly ask you for money, and
What?
there's a certain sentence that they use. You have, I don't know.
Is it within the happened? You
no,
did do?
No, it's an English word. I forget. I forget it.
You
But
forget?
basically,
Within the happen,
what
what
did
did
they
they
happen?
say, you they forget.
What did they happen? So you give them a bribe right from ukiingia tu kwa country.
Yeah. They're
They
like,
know
give me
unaingia-
now.
and
Give me
then
now, here's my
they
hand.
tell you the process will be started.
Yeah.
Everything you will just go haraka umalizie. Like
Yeah.
where there's hata hakuna need ya
Yeah.
bribing, but they see it
They
everywhere.
just do it
So-
semantically. Okay.
Yeah, so
Corruption
that's
is
the
crazy.
problem,
Yeah.
and also just trying not get scammed
No.
when you go there, because we've seen a lot of scammers.
Why do Nigerians love
they-
Kenyan, by the way?
Nigerians
Especially
love,
the guys, you
no,
know.
Nigerians love everyone. Nigerians
They are in
everywhere.
Roysambu, they are in the USA, in fact, in the
everywhere.
USA, Nigerians are known for scamming people, trust me. In the
everywhere, and
USA,
it's-
if you ask any American who is a Nigerian, they say, Nigerians have scammed us since, I don't know, 19 what?
Yeah,
Bravo.
it's the-
You're not tainting your image, but
It's the bad CV that's there.
Yeah,
But they
yeah,
also
yeah.
have a good CV. That's the bad CV that they have, corruption and scamming.
Yeah.
Now the good CV that they have is they're very loyal to their country. In terms
Yeah.
of even promotion of their film industry, Nigeria
Right,
has
literally.
done it. For the longest time, tulikuwa tunaona tu movies za Nigeria. Nowadays, they're
yeah.
cream de la
Kina nani
cream.
anaitwaje
Cream de la
ule
creme.
dem alikuwa anaitwaje Rita Dominic?
Rita Dominic, yeah, and I really love her. Rita
The one who has
Dominic.
a book anaitwaje Forgotten her name.
Dumelo,
Genevieve
there's
Naji.
Dumelo, Genevieve.
Yeah.
There's this brown guy in Misogynaki.
Nonso Diobi or
No.
Yeah, somebody's whispering something. Okay.
But there was
Van
Van
Vika,
Vika.
okay,
There was
yeah.
Van Vika, but there's also another one. When you
Yeah.
conquer husband to Genevieve, boyfriend. Anyway, that's a lot. But the good TV is
hizo
that
enzi wote walikuwa na count
It's
na
really-
crushes zao. I remember that time tulikuwa na ile DVD ya cassette. What was
Yeah.
it called, yeah?
Yeah.
And we would stock those movies and we would exchange it with our neighbors.
we're very
And then the
serious.
Aki and Popo.
Aki and Popo. Oh,
They were stubborn, those two
they were
guys.
amazing, yeah.
And then now they come now zile sasa za mashetani sasa. Patience Ozoko. You
Yeah.
can't talk about
And it's
Nigerian
interesting
movies
to
without
know that
Patience
Patience
Ozoko.
Ozoko
Yeah.
is saved. You know,
Yes,
like
and she's still
seriously
alive.
saved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was in Kenya
And
at some
she-
point.
Yeah, she's a true example of what it means to be a great actor. Like
Yeah.
people know you for such a character,
For
like
a stepmother, mostly
vice,
stepmother and evil mother.
Yeah, the vices are too many, but in real life, she's such a great person.
Me, there's
Two
one movie
different
that
worlds.
scared me when it was Blood Sisters that has Genevieve Naji.
Yeah.
Oh, that one! I think we were in Fountain Gate. I was in 5th grade or 4th grade. I used to have nightmares, especially when I think the husband was killed. I don't know who killed the husband, and the husband kept on coming in the dream. No, it's Genevieve who was killed. So she kept on coming in the dream. Boy, that was scary during those times. And then they had these instruments on, din 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 din, din 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 din, and you see everybody moving that like, twendeni tulale sasa, muombe mlale. You know, wow, I remember.
So if you
it was
can't
crazy,
relate,
yeah.
if you can't relate with this New Year that you
Maybe you're a Gen
Hey,
Z or
you
Juicy.
are such a Gen Z one. You're a Gen Alpha, in fact. So anyway, we close it at that.
Yeah.
And we'll just go to the comment section for a bit as we switch gears. So, I'm seeing Facebook because it's saying, good morning, you are watching Why in the Morning with Brand Sakwa and Stephanie Yetta. Employment drought. Jema youth wanafaa kujiokoaje kwa hii employment drought. And I'm getting comments for most of you saying that you are tuned in, but be sure to also answer to the question. So Abu Jesh anasema from Eldamaravin Massive Mingich KES, good morning Marigat Baringo tuko ndani #1 in the morning. Irungu J Jason anasema in Rasvini anasema locked in from Bukoro Massive Butere Sub County. JJ Ozengo anasema Mombasani present. Cleo journalist anasema locked from University of Nairobi. Alpha to our neighbor, we appreciate you. And Kennedy Jumba anasema watching na ako locked. So you just keep your comments coming in and we'll be sampling them as we go. And that's also the discussion that Sako will be having later on at the very tail end of the show on MCM. But now, before we take that break, I know that we're going to have some great political discussion on the state of the nation. How are things now? You know, and we might sample a few newspapers with the gentleman that will be joining me right here. The hashtag to use is Why in the Morning. My personal handle is at Stephanie Ayeta
And at Brand Sakwa 101. Yeah.
See you on the other side.
Y254. Imagine.
Komando, wambie sisi ndo vipenzi komando. Komando, wambie sisi ndo vipenzi komando.
Inakuwaje? Ni kila Jumatatu kutokea saa 1:05 hadi 3:30. Ndio unafahamu sisi ni makomando wa Afrika Mashariki ambao tunakupa kipindi chenye mapozi, tunatazama na mapozi ya kwako. Wanasema kwamba you can call me Kenny at Kenrelby. Wagwang. My name is DJ Kuch. Pale kwenye chiki na kupatia mziki zote za East Africa, old school, new school, zote ziko ndani. You can link up at DJ Kuch. Boom.
And of course, with me, Kalondu Musimi, I'll be giving you all the entertaining stories in East Africa. Nitakuwa nikuambia nani amefanya nini, kwa nini na akiwa na nani.
Hatuagizi na mabosi, sisi wenyewe mabosi, wanatobea mikosi, tunalindwa na sagodi pekee.
Say bye-bye to FOMO, the fear of missing out, by downloading the KBC online app that gives you access to everything you love. Get the latest news, sports, music, entertainment news, live TV, live radio, and so much more at the palm of your hands. To get the app, simply search KBC Mobile Digital App in your Google Play or App Store and download the app. Catch what you want, anytime, anywhere. Stay connected. Stay ahead with KBC Mobile Digital App.
Shining in the setting sun like a pearl upon the ocean. Come and feel me, oh feel me. Feelun hai peene ka mausam, tere sang ishq taari hai. Queen bhiye bwana, mfalme wa mbinguni, niimbe na zaburi, wananiteba.
Our stories shape our future. It's within them that we get to know ourselves.
God always came through in a way that we didn't even explain. And we came to realize that putting God at the center of it is like everything else will just flow.
Everything. What do you do when push comes to shove?
He was a great man. At that moment, he was supportive. Until 6 months, we went for the first surgery.
That's why here on The Nest, we tell you these stories to empower you and shape your parenting. Every Tuesday from 7:30 p.m. only on Y254.
Chemi za uongo, stories za jaba ndo tingize ubongo, ndo bebe kawale tikiza kamongo.
What's up everybody? Have you heard of Bounce Nation? We are the latest, most stand-up show in 254.
You know how we do each and every Tuesday, Thursday. Mad vibes, mad music. When you see this face, amazing vibes, pure niceness, mad music. Now always kumbuka wewe ndoko in full control.
I'm unavailable, they know they see me.
I go by the name Feeling Jean.
And I am the beat doctor DJ Epic, straight out of Gas Chamber DJs. You know how we do.
Of course, catch us every single Tuesday and Thursday from 4 p.m. all the way to 7 p.m. for mad energy, good vibes, and interviews and interactions with your favorite celebrities.
Y254. Imagine.
Chemi za uongo, stories za jaba ndo tingize ubongo, ndo bebe kawale tikiza kamongo.
What's up everybody? Have you heard of Bounce Nation? We are the latest, most stand-up show in 254.
You know how we do each and every Tuesday, Thursday. Mad vibes, mad music. When you see this face, amazing vibes, pure niceness, mad music na always kumbuka wewe ndoko in full control.
I'm unavailable. They know they see me.
I go by the name Feeling Jean.
And I am the beat doctor DJ Epic, straight out of Gas Chamber DJs. You know how we do.
Of course, catch us every single Tuesday and Thursday from 4 p.m. all the way to 7 p.m. for mad energy, good vibes, and interviews and interactions with your favorite celebrities.
Comando, wambie sisi ndo vipenzi komando. Komando, wambie sisi ndo vipenzi komando.
Inakuwaje? Ni kila Jumatatu kutokea saa 1:05 hadi 3:30 ndio unafahamu sisi ni makomando wa Afrika Mashariki ambao tunakupa kipindi chenye mapozi, tunatazama na mapozi ya kwako. Wanasema kwamba you can call me Kenny at Kenrelby.
Wagwang, my name is DJ Kuch. Pale kwenye chiki na kupatia mziki zote za East Africa, old school, new school, zote ziko ndani. We can link up at DJ Kuch. Boom.
And of course with me, Kalondu Musimi, I'll be giving you all the entertaining stories in East Africa. Nitakuwa nikuambia nani amefanya nini, kwa nini na akiwa na nani.
Hatuagizi na mabosi, sisi wenyewe mabosi. Wanatobea mikosi, tunalindwa na sagodi pekee.
Kuimbie Bwana, mfalme wa mbinguni, nimbe na zaburi,
Our stories shape our future. It's within them that we get to know ourselves.
God always came through in a way that we couldn't even explain. And we came to realize that putting God at the center of it is like everything else will just flow.
What do you do when push comes to shove?
He was a great man. At that moment, he was supportive. Until 6 months, we went for the first surgery.
That's why here on The Nest, we tell you these stories to empower you and shape your parenting. Every Tuesday from 7:30 p.m. only on Y254.
Y254. Imagine.
Say bye-bye to FOMO, the fear of missing out, by downloading the KBC online app that gives you access to everything you love. Get the latest news, sports, music, entertainment news, live TV, live radio, and so much more at the palm of your hands. To get the app, simply search KBC Mobile Digital App in your Google Play or App Store and download the app. Catch what you want, anytime, anywhere. Stay connected. Stay ahead with KBC Mobile Digital App.
The young generation awakens on Y254, the leading youth TV station in Kenya. We treat you to current affairs, entrepreneurship, health, and human interest conversations.
It's art, it's culture.
Movies, gossip and trends, sports,
Drama.
We bring you a vibe like no other, straight to your living room.
to keep you informed, inspired, entertained, and most of all, refreshed.
We are such a vibe.
Y254. Imagine.
Y254. Imagine. Y254. Imagine.
Komando, wambie sisi ndo vipenzi komando.
Komando, waambie sisi ndo vipenzi komando.
Inakuwaje? Ni kila Jumatatu kutokea saa 1:05 hadi 3:30. Ndio unafahamu sisi ni makomando wa Afrika Mashariki ambao tunakupa kipindi chenye mapozi, tunatazama na mapozi ya kwako. Wanasema kwamba you can call me Kenny at Kenrelby.
Wagwang. My name is DJ Kuch. Pale kwenye chiki na kupatia mziki zote za East Africa, old school, new school, zote ziko ndani. We can link up at DJ Kuch. Boom.
And of course with me, Kalondu Musimi, I'll be giving you all the entertaining stories in East Africa. Nitakuwa nikuambia nani amefanya nini, kwa nini na akiwa na nani.
Hatuagizi na mabosi, sisi wenyewe mabosi. Wanatobea mikosi, tunalindwa na sagodi pekee.
Chemi za uongo, stories za jaba ndo tingize ubongo, ndo bebe kawaletikiza kamongo.
What's up, everybody? Have you heard of Bounce Nation? We are the latest, most turned-up show in 254.
You know how we do each and every Tuesday, Thursday. Mad vibes, mad music. When you see this face, amazing vibes, pure niceness, mad music. Now always kumbuka wewe ndoko in full control.
I'm unavailable. They know they see me.
I go by the name Feeling Jean.
And I am the beat doctor, DJ Epic, straight out of Gas Chamber DJs. You know how we do.
Of course, catch us every single Tuesday and Thursday from 4 p.m. all the way to 7 p.m. for mad energy, good vibes, and interviews and interactions with your favorite celebrities.
Our stories shape our future. It's within them that we get to know ourselves.
God always came through in a way that we couldn't even explain. And we came to realize that putting God at the center of it is like everything else will just flow.
What do you do when push comes to shove?
He was a great man. At that moment, he was supportive. Until 6 months, we went for the first surgery.
That's why here on The Nest, we tell you these stories to empower you and shape your parenting. Every Tuesday from 7:30 p.m. only on Y254.
Y254. Imagine.
Good morning once again. If you're just joining us, you are on time for the first conversation of the day. But I must say you have missed our great banter with Brian Saka, but not to worry, we'll catch up on a few things right here. So we want to look at the state of the nation, what's been happening in our country over the weekend and even in the past week. We want to make sense of it, and we welcome your opinion on what is being discussed. And remember that whatever opinions are said here are not related to the station. So feel free to chime in on our social media platforms at Y254 channel using the hashtag Y in the morning. So I'd want to introduce my guests here with me today, and I'll start with James. So James has been here before in a different capacity, and today he's here representing the youth. He's here as a youth ambassador, and he will be giving us his insights on what we're talking about today. He's James Marita, a youth advocate, and right next to him we have Isaiah Kasirimo, also famously known as Kaka in his spaces. So he's the executive director of EACCGN, and he'll be telling us a little bit about that and his capacity to talk about our discussion today. So welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, so let me start with you, Kaka. Tell us what you do as an executive director.
All right, thank you very much, and I take this chance to greet everybody who is following us live on Y254. It's my first time to be here, and thank you so much, Stephanie, for having us here. My name is Isaiah Kaka, also known as Kaka Speaks, and I'm an advocate, I'm a lawyer, I'm a youth champion in different spaces. I'm an executive director for the East Africa Campuses and Colleges Green Network, whereby we push for the agenda on green spaces and sustainability across East Africa. I'm also representing Youth Voice in different organizations. I stand for Youth Network of Africa and also Climate Clock World. And I'm so happy to be here today to contribute to the youth affairs in the state of the nation.
All right, great. You're doing a lot of stuff, so keep it up. Let me go to you, James.
Okay, I'm Marita James. I'm a pharmacist. The other day I was here as a chief pharmacist, so today I'm also here talking on different ways on politics. So I'm very, very grateful to get involved with the affairs of the country.
Awesome, great. Yeah. So I want us to look at what's happening, and I want us to start from what the different dailies have captured, and I have two of them, at least on the front page. Let me start with what People Daily has written. The main read for People Daily is "Pray for Ruto, cries Rigiji." So, impeached deputy president accuses president of overtaxing Kenyans and presiding over a failed health system, even as commander-in-chief calls for national unity amidst raging storm. So I'm curious to get your opinion on what the deputy president currently is saying on this. Kaka, you look like you already have something.
Yeah, thank you. I am going to react on the headlines on that, and I think I'm also going to maybe touch on what the Daily Nation has spoken about on the headlines for today's newspaper. But maybe let me first of all start by opening to say that it's so unfortunate because I am a youth, I'm a young person, and I have occupied the space. By the way, I also happen to be one of the abductees in the post.
You were part of the...
Yes, I was also one of the people who were abducted. And it is something that I know that many young people, many, I do we know that the past finance protest bill that was just dropped, it really brought a lot of conversation in this country, both positive and negative. But I want to say that before even maybe I chip into that, I want just to say that I think it is the right time that the young people have actually opened their eyes in terms of governance. And I think going forward, this is going to change the narrative and the political narrative of this country as far as any person who is called a youth is concerned. I think the many changes that have happened to the government is because the young people stood for their voices and honestly stood for what was right for this country, devoid of political divisions, devoid of social class, devoid of where anyone comes from. I think it's the right time for everybody to start to stand for where they're speaking and where the voice that represents the people, that what it means exactly to be. And what happened is that we all know that it is not yet time to vote. We all know, everybody knows that it's not the time for us to go for elections. We have about like 2 years down the line for us to go for election. But there are so many things that are happening in this country. One is because the economic social system are being pushed to an extent of hiding more things that are behind the curtains. We've seen the impeachment of the deputy president happenings. But on the honest opinion is that we feel that amid the impeachment of the deputy president, there are also other things that the government is hiding behind the curtains for them to push for. We've seen Adani deals. We've seen what the court the other day ruled unconstitutional, and it was held back for it to make sure that these things follow the legal process. We also, on the health sector, we've seen what has happened, and some of these things, these systems are actually not working. People are stressed about there. People cannot get the social health security and all that. People are not getting the facilities that they need in these spaces that touches the public offices and all that. So an honest opinion is that amid what is happening with the impeachment of the deputy president, we need to be amicable. We need to stand out, and because they are not really into this, because they're quite aware that the young people has got a lot of information. We are also aware that some of these metrics that the government is pushing for is actually things that are against the law. For example, what has happened is what the headlines actually say about the interests of individuals. Yeah. The superseding things. I mean, coming to an extent of what the appointment of, for example, the CS Interior look like. I mean, all these things have not followed the law. Have not followed the constitutional partake. So the mandate and the rule of law in this country, to whoever it is, whether it's the executive that has got overruling powers, must obey the law.
Okay, so they must obey the law.
Yes.
So the law should be as should be the governing whatever governs the decisions that are made in the country. All right, I want to also get your comments on this, James, and I'll get back to you, Kaka, on your abduction, because there's also an interest in the abductions that have been going on, at least, or the alleged abductions. So let me get to you, James. What are your thoughts on what the deputy president has said about the president?
I think according to the deputy president, according to my views, yeah, it's the right time to pray for the president. But now it's becoming a day when he's already impeached, and also it's very, very unfortunate for me. According to my argument, I can argue that the deputy president is not honest at the same time. Your prayer, we are prayer for people, we are prayer for nation, and I think he's trying to throw this in the, when he's in that catastrophe, So according to me, I can say that as much as we are trying to pray for the president, and as much as we are trying to monitor everything, every steps happening in this country, we must be clear as youths that we are now enlightened. We are seeing what's happening. The speed at which Rigathi Gachagua has been moving in the office, it must be speed at the development. We want to see the development happening in this country. So this country want to see the same speed. According to me, I can argue that these two individuals, they've messed this country. The right time now for them to forget the offices and leave that office completely, and that allow the young people to take over the space.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the accusations, because even in the deputy president saying that we should pray for the president, what he's also pushing is he's accusing the president of overtaxing Kenyans, presiding over a failed health system, even as commander-in-chief calls for national unity amidst raging storm. So he's accusing the president of overtaxing Kenyans and presiding over a failed health system. So maybe, James, you can answer to this before I push to Kaka. Do you think it's the right posture for the deputy president to be in right now, where he's standing, accusing the president of overtaxing Kenya and the failed health system? Was it not his responsibility as much as it was the president's responsibility? Now that he's
remember these two individuals, we elected them as a pair. When one fails, most likely they fail both of them, you know. And as I've told you, this is not the right time now. The deputy president trying to tell us, you know, we pray for the president, we do this, you know. He could have told us a long time ago. And in fact, for information, we are not aware the process which has been undergoing all through, which led to the impeachment of the deputy president. Nobody is coming up to tell us this is what happened in the scene, this is what happened on the scene, so that we can get to understand what happened. But now, his sentiment is coming the long timing, so we can't believe him either, you know. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we can't believe him. What do you think, Kaka? Is he in the right position to accuse the president of what he's doing?
First and foremost, the fight between the president and the deputy president has nothing to do with the citizen of the Republic of Kenya. Reasons is because we've seen on the finance bill, it is what actually has pushed the budgetary allocation for the First Lady and the First Lady to the President and also the First Lady to the Deputy President's allocations to be dropped. As we speak, initially before the finance bill was dropped, the office of the Deputy President's First Lady used to get an allocation of 527 million Kenyan shillings. Mind you, as they receive this money, there's someone somewhere who cannot afford education. There's someone else somewhere who is struggling to, you know, afford the basics needs. Okay, I'll speak on the aspects of the law and also the process that has been followed. On the impeachment of the deputy president, I don't want to say that whatever intrigued the division between him and the president was pushed by certain factors, but if you look at the three arms of the government, that is the judiciary, executive, and the legislature, in the Kenyan's law and in the Kenyan setup, we have what is called the overriding powers. The executive has got so much powers, considering two factors. Factor number one is that the president is the one with the party that formed the government. So if I was asked on a very honest opinion, if Gachagua should go, the president should also go. What is he doing? They are all both in the same selector, on the same docket. If one fails, we should not have blame games. I mean, they should all both pave the way and go. And it is as simple as it is. We've seen the housing levy thing. People are sanitizing politics in space of leadership on this country. Article 10 of the Kenyan Constitution speaks about the national values, for example. And it is the mandate of every citizen outlined at Article 37 for them to stand out and basically question these leaders. Why are you doing this? I'm sorry to say so that the housing levy bill already passed, and it was ruled the other day. It was ruled by the three benches judges that it lacked the basis of the ruling and all that. But Gachagua is a crying baby in this case. Imagine, I mean, it does not really concern the citizen of this country. It is okay. They can go through the judicial process. They can go through the court. I know they are planning to go to Court of Appeal and probably the next phase. But what I want to say is that one does not have to do with the citizen of this country. Let them fight themselves. But in fact, we are also looking for a best way for also Ruto to go. And that is our stand. Because one is that overtaxation for Kenyans we've seen, and it is enough. We have also seen cases whereby I mean, it is just so much for the people of this country. If people here, I know my brother James, if you took time to go through what the things that were actually channeled touching to the citizen of the Republic of Kenya, the increasement of the VAT tax to what was pushed for. Luckily, that one was not passed through, but the thing that people are going through and sanitizing politics to so many things, my honest opinion is that both were pair when we were voting for them. So the deputy president ought to have been the next advisor to the president. But for him politicking around the nation and saying that, this is bad, this is good, and many other things that the court find alleged against the deputy president, to me those are scapegoats. And I think it's the right time also. The same way Honorable Mutuse brought the idea of impeaching the deputy president, we also want another member of parliament also to formulate a motion and bring them to the National Assembly and say, we also now want to formulate a plan on how we can be able to impeach the president also to go.
All right. And you know, you say it with such boldness. And some people are intimidated to say that, you know, some people who have said that on the online spaces, we have found that some are missing, you know, or some are being abducted, and, you know, so how does it happen? And I'd want you to answer right after I talk to James. But how is it, do we still have the freedom to say what we really want to say, what we really want to see happen in this current environment that we're in? Are we going to a place where we might not be able to speak our minds like we should? But James, before you answer to that, James, you know, we have been speaking about the deputy president and the president, and this is the second time that this is happening, the president not working out with the deputy president, because in the previous regime, we saw the former president Uhuru Kenyatta and Ruto not working out, and with the deputy president that he was ousted, and, you know, there was nothing he could do to, you know, to advise the president and everything. So it's almost the same narrative now when we look at the deputy president. He says that he's the truthful man, and the president is someone who cannot be advised, and that's why the president took fault in him. And he said a lot of things that even his life was put in danger. He alleged that there were murder attempts, at least twice, you know, and then that resulted to him now being impeached. So is it a trend that we are likely to see when we get the president, when we elect deputy president and president? Who are we supposed to hold accountable? Is it the president who's being faulted by the deputy president every other time?
Okay. According to that question, let me frame it this way. You see now, the last regime we had President Ruto and we had President Uhuru Kenyatta as the president. If you compare the scenario happened there before and today, it's almost similar. But you see now, these people, they are used now, it's now a trend, you know, it's now a trend. And we are not going to accept that trend because, according, you know, Kenyan youth, we are really very keen on this politician. You know, what they did there before and even what they are doing today, it's almost the same. So if you look at the way Gachagua is trying to flame these things, everything, he could have told us these things a long time ago. He could have told us that we have a problem with the president, we can't work. But even the 2010 constitution, those people who formulated this 2010 constitution, they have to go back again, the drawing board, and they do some changes, according to me. Because now we need to get somebody, a president whereby the deputy president is supposed to be appointed. I think that's the regime where they are trying to take us. Okay. That they'll have to appoint somebody. If for example, I'm a president, I'll have to appoint somebody to be my rank mate. If it means we'll have to hold that arena, let be that way. Because instead of getting some people, you know, they're starting their marriage, you know, like now in the long run, they're nowhere to be seen. Being divorced. Yes.
So you're saying that the president should just stand on his own, and then once elected, he chooses who we will have.
I think the 2010 constitution, those people who formulated the 2010 constitution, they'll have to go back again. They need to get advice from the advocates in the court. If they can just maybe formulate, it can just work on that clause of, you know, the president can appoint somebody whom he can trust to work with. But again, the checks and balances now comes in. Who is going to hold this person, you know, accountable? Because somebody who is appointed is as well somebody who can be manipulated in time. So that's a question now we are listening today. Those people who are maybe to sit down, maybe eat tomorrow, a day after tomorrow, you know. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting suggestion there. I'm curious to get your opinion on it, even as you answer a previous question. Do you think that we need to go in that direction, to tweak the constitution a bit, to just have the president be voted for, and then he appoints his own deputy president after?
The guideline here is the Kenyan 2010 constitution. And maybe before I forget, first of all, to quickly react to what you asked previously.
All right.
In Kenya, there's freedom of speech. And in as much as we are being intimidated with many things, forces and all that kind of thing, everybody in the Republic of Kenya has a freedom to speak. Number two, everybody in the Republic of Kenya also has a right to question, to ask, and even to hold those people in the office accountable for anything that is happening. I mean, I can imagine a scenario whereby the opposition is not working for this country. Because the main role of the opposition is basically to question the government on the promises that they have made to work for the people. But in a scenario where such things are happening, we have all seen these things. We're not new in the Republic of Kenya. We've seen this happening. And the idea that you raise about me speaking being bold, it is something that I can't stand as a case whereby the many young people, millions of young people stood out to speak out their voices and to basically air out their opinions, going back to be intimidated. Some of them were abducted, some of them were even killed. It is okay, you can kill someone, but that spirit is going to live to someone else, and it is going to be something that this country's history will have been made. Electing the president and later on for him to appoint the deputy president.
Just before you go,
Yeah.
you go to answer that particular question on the right to speak and everything. You mentioned that during the finance bill, you were one of the people who were abducted. How was it?
I can say that it was really something that was unexpected. I didn't expect this to happen. But I think, as I said, is that us as young people, we were basically airing out our opinions as per what we see was wrong. I mean, what was not right for the people and what was suppressing the people of Kenya was not right. And that is how we stood out and speak our voices. So I was also approached by two cars, two Subarus with that number plate, and taken all the way to the Tok in Kajiado South. So
wow.
I think
You were, were you in Nairobi at that time?
No, I was not in Nairobi. This particular time, we are also questioning the county government. So this is what the county government set up in Kajiado County. So this is where actually I was picked at, in Kajiado County. And luckily, people were able to speak about this, and at least I was released. And some of the things that actually I was charged on is they spoke about the obvious thing that you're talking about, the interruption, spreading false allegations, and many other things that other people that have been abducted are being questioned on the same. But then, regardless of us being abducted, we are still standing our ground to speak out for the people of the Republic of Kenya. Mind you, there is someone else who may not get a space to come here to speak. There is someone else who is far away from town who do not even know how can they compose a simple phrase. How will these people be represented? I mean, power is circulated. Offices are abused. For example, where I come from in Kajiado County, nothing is actually working. I mean, everything is on its knees. Especially if you look at so many sectors, public land has been manipulated. It has been taken by these leaders. And I'm not here to say this because this is the information that is still on the domain. I think many people know my story. It was published like everywhere, even on the newspaper. I don't fear speaking out my voice because at the end of the day, what really is calling us for is to speak out our voices to represent those people who cannot be able to speak for themselves. We had 3 people, for example, who were also arrested from the HDR's departments in Kajiado still, who went missing until the court has to rule on the habeas corpus rule, whereby saying that bring the body either dead or alive. And the Inspector General for Police was also questioned on the same thing. And so the idea is either we are being intimidated or we're not being intimidated. We cannot just go and be silent on the things that matter most to the people, to the citizens of this country. I have said, and I've said more of time, is that we may not have the systems as it's planned to be. We've seen people also from the opposition joining the government, joining the forces. We have people who have been given the position to work for the government. That is fine, because that is what the president's own call for. He has the powers to appoint and fire and all kind of things. But the thing is, let it not be to an expense of the Republic of Kenya. People who vote, we are the one who pay taxes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. So, there's a lot involved. So that with the abductions, we are seeing someone like Boniface Mwangi, who was allegedly abducted on, is it Sunday? And now he's being charged with incitement for people to, so he was charged with incitement to people, urging them to occupy the Stanchart Marathon. So is that enough grounds for them to abduct someone? Because now the wife said it was abduction, because there's a difference between abduction and arrest. Now we also need to identify, demystify between the two. How should an abduction be like? How is an abduction like, and how should an arrest be like, so that we are clear when it's an abduction and when it's not? Because most times the authority says, no, he was just arrested, but the family knows that they were abducted. But anyway, the question is, are these enough grounds? Because yes, true to the word, Boniface Mwangi told on his social media that people should occupy the Stanchart Marathon. And I want to throw it to you, James. So is this enough grounds that they're accusing him of incitement?
Boniface Mwangi is one of the activists we have in this country, who's, in everything, in every angle, it's one of those guys who I've seen for the last 2 years, since I started following, man. It's among those people who is very, very strong, and it's among those people who can stand for this country. I don't think so. Just frame your question again.
So, what is being accused of?
Yes.
The incitement, inciting people
Yes.
to occupy the Stanchart Marathon. Is it enough grounds?
No, I don't think that is enough ground for him to be arrested or to be abducted in any case. But I think it's more of a political, and according to government, I think I can comment that they've seen the Mwangi, Boniface Mwangi going higher and higher. And again, according to my comment, I can say it's because of the good job he's trying to do for the young people in this country. He's trying to give us more information about the government and how the government is working behind the scene. And I think that is probably the one which has put him in the situation where he's in today.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What about you, Kaka?
As James put it, is that Boniface Mwangi is been there. I'm here as a legal advisor and also as a legal learner and all that. And I'm not meant to break the law. I'm meant to uphold the law. And in the case of arrest, you're supposed to be given allegations, and whether these allegations are actually true, and therefore the law says at least before 24 hours elapse, whether it's on working hours, you're supposed to be arraigned in court. That's what the law says. And therefore, on the case of him being arrested and what the accusation and the allegations were and mentioned part there, I really don't want to really comment whether the allegations were actually true, but the thing is, everything is political, and sometimes when we lack the really true basis of doing this, because trust you me, we've tried all this. We've tried petitions, we tried to do many things to try and stop these things. But of course, at the end of the day, we may not be able to beat the government, because the government is the government at the end of the day. So, but one thing I know is that at the end of the road, might take time, but we're going to be there for what we are fighting for.
All right. Okay. So now, one of the things that, the petitions that people pushed for, and which was against the 7-year term limit. And I had to ask you, James, many people came out, and we saw the civic education, we saw how people created the template so that you're just able to send an already written email, just so that we oppose the 7-year term limit bill that has been proposed in the Senate. How much more do we not know as citizens? That was, we came to know about it, and I can't remember how, but it was just brought up and people got to know about it. But could there be other bills that people do not even know about that would be affecting us as a people. And it's the same with Adani deal. It was also just a whistleblower who told the people that, oh, by the way, she told a senator, oh, by the way, you know, there's this deal that's almost going through. And that's how Adani deal became a thing, and people came out to speak against it. So could there be other bills that people might not know about and people need to know about? Now, how can people come to know about these things so that we are able to participate?
Like now, talking of the 7-year term, extension of maybe the presidency in power, that one came as a shock because according to me, I had a plan. The other day, a friend called me from the States, and they called me, you people, are you aware that there's a bill which is being tabled in Parliament extending the president limit? And then I was like, no, who has told you? Because you are very far away from us. And then I was like, you people, you are behind, you know. Just go online. Then I tried to go online. I couldn't find anything. Then later I called a friend who stays at Kitengela, tried to inquire, as a lawyer, a good friend of mine. I said, are you aware that there's a bill being tabled in Parliament, extension of the president's limit? And he told me, yes, I'm aware. And I was like, okay, so when was it done? When was it drafted? For the people to know. And then I heard that there's one of the senator from the other side of the region called the Cherangay. He was the one who tabled that bill. He was the one who came to table that bill. And he was the one who tried to facilitate the entire process, you know. And then I was like, no, if you want to extend the presidency, you know, the 7-year term limit from the current term we are in, then it means you are trying to create what those people want to cringe into power also. Like now, young people, they're here to take over this country by storm. Because according to the way we are seeing the country is being run by these politicians, especially these millennial people, we are going to overthrow them from power. We've seen a lot, and we are trying to say that we are coming for them. Coming 2027, we are coming for them. But as much as the 7-year term limit is concerned, I can actually say that there are a lot happening behind the scene without our knowledge as the Kenyan people. And now the best way, we need now to, as young people, we need to come up with a platform. Like now, the platform of, you know, we need to, of engaging ourselves. And maybe at some point, maybe we can have a representative, you know, so that we are able now to get what is happening behind the scene. What is the government trying to do without our knowledge? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we get a representative or a platform so that we know what's going on.
Yes.
Behind the scene. What's your opinion on it, Kaka? And especially what the president has said about it, because we have even seen memes and people are not buying that the president is, you know, what the president is saying, because the president came out, and I'll try to read it from this daily, that he's not for the extension of the 7-year term limit, but what people kwa ground wanasema ni he's just trying to say what is right, but deep down they feel like he is actually for it, and he might even be the one who encouraged that it be put forward. So Ruto rejects plan to extend president's term to 7 years. He has dismissed fresh efforts to extend the presidential term, firmly stating that he did not support the proposal. So do you believe that the president did not support it? And if he didn't, do you feel like there was something he could do so that it would not even be a discussion?
Okay, let me ask you a simple question. When the deputy president was impeached, it was a motion that was brought to parliament. The same way a senator brought the motion, all right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure most of us, probably also James, probably they saw the email. What was the email for that? If this was not, okay, I don't know that you guys have seen that short, is it a Gazette notice or something? I don't know that you saw it, prescribing everything about the extension of the term limit and all that. I don't know, I think it's circulating on social media. I think it's there.
It's there.
If you read that, because I'm pretty sure whoever wrote that one is someone who understands the law and everything. And it is more into the fulfillment what this is all about. And the president as a civil servant probably cannot come and say he's going to support this. There's no way he's not going to say like he's going to support that. You don't just expect him to come and say, I'm going to support the extension of, because the rapture is going to be there. But the thing is, the looming, let's call it looming for purposes of proven on this, probably for it to be further proven under the same. Ideally, the thing is, if the allegations are actually true and they are there on the ground, then if this is going to be, because anything that formulates the law and anything that formulates something to be fully implemented, we're not saying this should be extended. They can extend it, yes, but they should follow what the law says. I mean, they should follow the procedural, which I'm pretty sure also Kenyans are not buying that. Because that means changing the constitution. Because what does the governing body of election in Kenya, that is IEBC, what does it say in terms of how long should the president be in the office? So that means that it is basically for us to change the constitution again to read it differently, because you cannot have Ruto ruling for 7 years and again someone else is coming to rule for 5 years. It doesn't work like that. So if it is for 7 years and then we're going for the second term for him, how many years is it going to be?
14.
So
14.
I mean, I think you're reading from the same script. That one I let it come. Let them follow. There was a day that was when they wanted to remove the deputy president from office. They even hold public participation in all they intended for all the counties, even if though not all the counties participated, but good number of counties were actually participating into this. So let people, also those one who are not educated, because it's not everybody who can read an email. I'm pretty sure the people in Ushago, in so many places, someone from Turkana, who is a pastoralist, cannot read an email what it says. But let someone come with civic education and say, oh, this is what is being pushed by the government, this is what people are saying. Are you in agreement? Let them put a consent. And I'm pretty sure by 8 a.m. it is not going to pass.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Now, okay, there's a lot. Now we're looking at that aside, the 7-year term limit. Now we've had the SHIF being rolled out, and that was from 1st October. Now, many people have had a lot of problems. So initially, especially within the first week, we saw that even dialysis patients were denied access to their treatment, and some were literally crying on TV. And something was done for at least dialysis patients and cancer patients. And, you know, it's been being rectified slowly as they go, because at some point, even cancer patients, it was only those that could access radiotherapy, and those that were in radiotherapy and another, but chemotherapy patients weren't able to get access because, and the reason was because chemo, different patients have different kind of treatment. So radiotherapy, it's the same amount. So they needed to get that together first. So even in that particular period, some people suffered, you know. And even now that the critical care patients are able to get treatment, there's still a problem with the registration. Every other day when you go to SHA offices now, previously NHIF, you'd find a lot of people there, and you'd find that they're old people, that they don't even know how to use this system. They're expected to go to the cyber or do something around it, and they can't access this treatment until they're able to be registered. And there's a problem with the system. So is it fair that this had to be rolled out very fast when it was not yet ready? Because on this particular daily, it reads Ruto blames SHIF delays on teething problems. And so basically, so delays in the implementation of SHIF are attributed to teething problems that will be addressed soon, and that is what the president said. And now salaried employees will pay 2.75% of gross salary with a minimum contribution of 300 per month, and then NHIF was, of course, discontinued last month. So, James, what are your thoughts on this, even as we close?
I think matters healthy. The president need to be, even the rolling of this Shaha, you know, it has really affected so many people, especially for those in the dialysis area. I think that is, if about those people who undergo the Samata test, those who undergo dialysis, they're the most affected people. And the timing at which they brought this, the entire program was not necessary. I think whoever was already the president, the program was so fast to be implemented. And the program, if you compare the NHIF and the Shaha, the NHIF, I think they could have given the stage at which this program was supposed to start. For instance, if you go to, you remember this 76-year-old who complained the other day, was really crying for the dialysis part of it, and such kind of, and most really touched me, and I felt for that mama. I think the entire program, the SHA program, is really it's really malicious. It's not something which we really anticipated for this country. I think the program came in as a result of it was so fast implemented. And according to my argument, these people, they could have taken time to examine the ground, to examine the entire process, so that now, if you are able to chip in this share thing, at least it was supposed to come slowly, then it takes off. But the way it has been formulated and the way it has been pushed to people, it's really very, very malicious. So, according to me now, I can argue that the government should just go back and look about the entire process and at least give the entire people the way forward before we transit to the regime of Shaha.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they need to take time.
Need to take time to listen to people, and then from there gradually they will implement such a kind of a program.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, as let me ask you just before we close, what do you think about our systems? We have three arms of government. We have the legislative, the executive, and the judiciary. Do they operate independently, or do you feel like these two arms of government are under the influence of the executive, the judiciary? So do you think that they are under influence of the executive?
Quite obvious. Legislature has to be influenced by the executive. Reason being, how many members of parliament from the Kenya Kwanza government are in National Assembly? There are many. I mean, you cannot go against your boss. Even in the voting process, I mean, it's the founder of the party who give you the right to run for that particular docket, and you won under that party. Remember,
but
also,
is it for the people or is it for the person?
It is ideally, democratically, it is meant to be for the people. You're not supposed to do in favors of the party, but unfortunately, the people we have are puppets, and I don't fear to say so. That is the problem we have, whereby you are intimidated. You are told, if you do not vote this, probably you're not going to get this and all those kind of favors. I mean, we've seen, for example, the MP for Kiharu, what on the whole of this process, what he said and the aftermath of all that has happened. People were taming him on social media as disloyal to his boss. So does it mean then that you're working for Y254? Does it mean that if today Y254 violates something and you speak about it, they're going to eliminate you from it? That is not how it should not work. So one thing I've said earlier on here, that the overriding powers from the executive, and that is the problem we have in the separation of powers, whereby judiciary exists independently, per se, influence from the executive has to be felt in the lawmakers in the legislature are they have to somehow work upon the needs needed by the executive. There are very few people who can be able to stand for the right in the people that voted for them, like people who voted for you to represent you there, the electorate from your constituency. Yeah. There are very few people who can be able to stand the pressures of the executive and others. But let me say that we hope so that in the near future, I believe that we're the leaders for, not even for the idea of tomorrow leaders and all kind of thing. We are the present leaders, and that's why we are occupying these spaces. And also, probably, my last thing is, I really emphasize this. I was in Citizen the other day, and I always say this: if you're to die for fighting for a good cause, you're going to be in the good books. You know what the good book says? You know, I think one of the Beatitudes says, you know, sometimes you go through distress, but at the end of the day, if the reality and the truth was found there, then probably the promised land in heaven. I don't know. I have never been there, but I believe there's heaven. You're gonna be somewhere. My call and back call for every young person, wherever they are at. And this is not an intimidating statement from wherever I'm speaking this from. I'm not trying to intimidate anyone in the government, but I'm saying this. There was a time, for example, even those people in power had nothing. Even meeting the basic needs was a problem for them. Why should it feel like because you are now in power, you're cruising big machines out there? Why should you forget that person who cannot afford education and medical bills and everything else outside in the village? Okay. I'm calling out for the young people to stand out for their voices wherever they can and use also this channel. And I thank God because of the freedom that exists in media. Thanks God for the laws of Kenya because they have given you freedom to speak about these things. Host as many young people as possible in all the professions. I will encourage also you to have people here who can be able to contextualize about the SHA thing. I'm telling you, there's a lot of mess in the health universal coverage.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Kaka, for expressing your views on this particular discussion. Where can people find you if you're comfortable to share your social platforms?
I'm on X. That's on X. Kaka Speaks all across the social media.
Okay, Kaka Speaks across all social media. And to you, James, where can people find you on social media? And if you have a final thing that you want to say.
Okay, my final thing I can comment on the accountability. Good governance and accountability means when you are having a government which are able to take good care of the public resources, good health, education, and all those things. If we have a government which is not working in that area, and then now at the end of the day we call it that's not the government of the day. And then according to young people outside there, I just encourage them, this is our time, we need to wake up, we need to lead this country.
Okay, thank you very much, James, for sharing your insights on this topic as well. We appreciate you, gentlemen, and we hope to have you for more discussions on our nation. So that has been James Marita, who's a youth advocate, and we've also had Isaiah Kaka, who's the executive director of EACCGN, talking to us about the state of the nation on matters politics. I hope you've taken something from it, and you are welcome to share your views on Y254 channel. The hashtag is Y in the Morning. So right about now, we're going to take a short break, and then Brian Sakwa will be coming with the next conversation, a great one that you do not want to miss. So stick with us.
Y254. Imagine.
Comando, wambie sisi ndo vipenzi komando. Komando, wambie sisi ndo vipenzi komando.
Inakuwaje? Ni kila Jumatatu kutokea saa 1:05 hadi 3:30. Ndio unafahamu sisi ni makomando wa Afrika Mashariki ambao tunakupa kipindi chenye mapozi, tunatazama na mapozi ya kwako. Wanasema kwamba you can call me Kenny at Kenrelby.
Wagwang. My name is DJ Kuch. Pale kwenye chiki na kupatia mziki zote za East Africa, old school, new school, zote ziko ndani. We can link up at DJ Kuch. Boom.
And of course with me, Kalondu Musimi, I'll be giving you all the entertaining stories in East Africa. Nitakuwa nikuambia nani amefanya nini, kwa nini na akiwa na nani.
Hatuagizi na mabosi, sisi wenyewe mabosi, wanatobea mikosi, tunalindwa na sagodi pekee.
Chemi za uongo, stories za jaba ndo tingize ubongo, ndo bebe kawalitikiza kamongo.
What's up, everybody? Have you heard of Bounce Nation? We are the latest, most stand-up show in 254.
You know how we do each and every Tuesday, Thursday. Mad vibes, mad music. When you see this face, amazing vibes, pure niceness, mad music. Now always kumbuka wewe ndoko in full control.
I'm unavailable, they know they see me.
I go by the name Feeling Jean.
And I am the beat doctor, DJ Epic, straight out of Gas Chamber DJs. You know how we do.
Of course, catch us every single Tuesday and Thursday from 4 p.m. all the way to 7 p.m. for mad energy, good vibes, and interviews and interactions with your favorite celebrities.
Our stories shape our future. It's within them that we get to know ourselves.
God always came through in a way that we couldn't even explain. And we came to realize that putting God at the center of it is like everything else will just flow.
What do you do when push comes to shove?
He was a great man. At that moment, he was supportive. Until 6 months, we went for the first surgery.
That's why here on The Nest, we tell you these stories to empower you and shape your parenting. Every Tuesday from 7:30 p.m. only on Y254.
Shining in the setting sun like a pearl upon the ocean. Come and feel me, oh feel me.
Feelun है पीने का मौसम.
It's art, it's culture, it's fun, it's attitude. We sample some of the best artistic works locally and beyond our borders. Oh, and don't get me started on the cultural events. Music, dance, fine art, culinary arts, and much, much more. You name it, and we have got you covered. My name is Kevin Kasioki. Please join me each and every Friday at 8 p.m. only on Y254 channel.
Yeah, politics at large, youth, Gen Z. Yeah.
Y254. Imagine. Y254. Imagine.
Komando, wambie sisi ndo vipenzi komando.
Komando, wambie sisi ndo vipenzi komando.
Inakuwaje? Ni kila Jumatatu kutokea saa 1 dakika 5 hadi 3:30. Ndio unafahamu sisi ni makomando wa Afrika Mashariki ambao tunakupa kipindi chenye mapozi, tunatazama na mapozi ya kwako. Wanasema kwamba you can call me Kenny.
Wagwang. My name is DJ Kuch. Pale kwenye chiki na kupatia muziki zote za East Africa, old school, new school, zote ziko ndani. We can link up at DJ Kuch.
And of course with me, Kalondu Musimi, I'll be giving you all the entertaining stories in East Africa. Nitakuwa nikuambia nani amefanya nini, kwa nini na akiwa na nani.
Hatuagizi na mabosi, sisi wenyewe mabosi, wanatobea mikosi, tunalindwa na sagodi peke.
Pen is there. Yeah.
Fred, your mic check.
Hi.
A little background, Fred, of you. Sorry, I'll have to divide the minutes.
Yeah.
A little background of yours.
So I'm Fred Mokwa. I'm a physicist by profession.
Physicist.
Yeah, I'm mostly focused on the medical industry, medical physics. And I'm a former student leader, an SG.
At the University of Nairobi?
No, at Multimedia University of Kenya, where I studied. And currently I'm also doing my master's in nuclear physics.
He's also doing a lot of things. You actually have different streams. Focus on this. So which one is mine?
Y254. Imagine.
And welcome back. We are still here. If you missed the first conversation that Stephanie had, you can just forward behind just a little bit. You get to catch up the conversation that Steph has had with the guest on Matter State of the Nation. Now, right about now, this is the last interview of the day, and we're delving into matters and employment. And just to get you up to speed, according to the Federation of Kenya Employers, FKE, the unemployment rate in Kenya is at 67%, and this is on the age bracket between 15 to 34 years. So it's inclusive of Gen Zs, millennials, and everyone in between. But the overall is at 12.7%. And some of the issues that they're raising include lack of skills, dropping out of school, and literally they're pointing out the education system and structure needs to be revamped in a sense that young people need to be taught either you finish school and employ yourself, so self-employment, instead of finish school, graduate, go get employed. So those are some of the issues that being raised. But then this comes against a backdrop of what Cabinet Secretary Labour Alfred Mutua announced that there's 3,000 job opportunities in Qatar. So Kenyan youth had to go for those mass interviews that happened at KICC, those issues of scamming left, right, and center. But you know what? Today is the last day. So that's again an interesting story that we'll be following up for the better part of today. So ensure that you tune into KBC Channel 1 and right here, Y254. But right about now, we are delving into the unemployment menace in the country. What are some of the possible solutions that we can employ to ensure that we combat, especially when it comes to calming the youth so that they stay upbeat with the tech trends that can also give them possible employment opportunities as well. And I'm being joined live in the studio by Kevin Biseso. He's an entrepreneur or a businessman. He does a lot of things he was trying to share with me alongside Fred Mokwa. Karibuni sana. Hopefully you get
Yes, I got it. Yeah, thank you.
Karibu sana. So let me start off with you, Kevin. When you look at what's happening in Kenya right now, you are telling me off the air that you came in Kenya during the 25th, when the Gen Z protests were just in the heat of passion. What are some of the missing gaps that you noticed in the Kenyan youth population?
Well, the Kenyan youth population, basically, if you see the demographic of Kenyan, right, so we've got about 42% of people in Kenya that is under the 15 years of age. And we got 15 to 64, we've got about 55%. That's a huge, that's the labor force, you know. So it's basically, what we're missing here is we've got about 40% of youth in terms of that 55%.
Yeah.
We're missing update.
Yeah.
Update, because there's a couple of things, if I may go a little bit in details into that. The situation of employment right now has been triggered by various factors. And we need to go a little bit back in history to understand why this is happening at the moment.
Right.
For example, Kenya has a very young population, all right? So there's a rapid growth population in Kenya. And the system that is in place is not catering that rapid growth. You understand, it's an old system. It's being innovated, but it's at a low pace, right? We have the rapid growth population. And another thing is we got the misaligned system of education with the demands on the job market. They are very different. Kenyans are taught to be job seekers, not job creators. And that's a big gap.
Right.
We have the AI Industrial Revolution 4.0 that is taking over in Safaricom or mobile internet and everything.
Yeah.
But it's not catering the labor market because it's cutting a lot of jobs.
Yeah.
And we are behind. We are not prepared to face the Industrial Revolution 4.0. Okay? And we have the COVID pandemic, which Kenya hasn't recovered fully from. 1.7 or 2 million people lost their jobs.
Okay.
So all these factors is going on at the moment.
Okay.
And the support that is being provided by the local authorities or the system is not really enough. It's too slow to cater this rapid growth. Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So I feel that the missing gap is the young people are not getting, they're getting their stuff, but they're not getting it on time.
Right.
Right? In order to become like an entrepreneur, for example, there's not enough facilities to cater to beat foreign investors, to leverage their skills.
Right.
So
Interesting. Fred, I don't know what you picked from what happened at KICC on Friday and on Thursday, I believe, as well. And it's set to continue till today. So do you believe that Kenyan youth should be given opportunities outside Kenya, or we should start, he's mentioned an interesting point. We are taught to be job seekers and not job creators. And that literally dates back to our education system. It's traditionally go to school, graduate, get your degree certificate, go look for a job instead of get your degree, become creative. He's mentioned AI, which is tech now. So instead of that, going through that traditional culture of go to school, get a job, is it possible that we format our education system so that it teaches young people right in our country to be more of opportunity creators than opportunity seekers? And then also with what happened at KICC, do you believe this is coming in at a time when the government is going through a lot? I know you're a Kenyan, so you've observed a lot of things, yeah? And people are still not trusting. Even they're saying 3,000 opportunities for young people in Qatar. People still don't trust it. But then yet, a summation of 20,000 Kenyans stand up. And in fact, some of them were scorned and scammed. So there's still a lot of missing links and missing gaps, and still the trust deficit between the higher up authority and the local citizens. What did you observe from all of those?
Before I go to what happened in KICC, I'll take you back to our Kenyan education system. The way it is designed, it is mostly for consumption. Like when you become an engineer from Kenya, the only thing you can do, you cannot do any invention. Compared, I've been in Poland and some other country. the thing they read and what we do in Africa is totally different. In terms of the labor market, job market, we are not even ready. And then what I can advise is policies formulation, the policies that focus on the technical skill part, teaching the soft skill like plumbing, the one they do in the vocational training. If you compare a graduate in a degree in automotive engineering in a campus who has been in 5 years, and someone who went to a technical school somewhere, did this automotive engineering, maybe craft certification or diploma, he or she is more experienced compared to someone who went to university. So, and those in the university, they should focus more on research. The government should invest more on the research, equip youths with the necessary resources and material to conduct research. For example, if we go to countries like China, if there is something that is supposed to be implemented in the market, it is designed by a certain university is given that they do the research, they do the test, and when it is implemented, it is already tested. But when you come to Kenya, they go somewhere, they see something is applying there, they don't even do public participation. They come to Kenya and then they start duplicating in Kenya without even seeing what the Kenyan market needs. And to go back to what happened to KICC, you know, most of the Kenyans, from the Gen Z to even the millennials, most of the people, there is a high rate of unemployment. According to World Bank, it is around 75%.
Right.
And it is something that is alarming. So the government should do, going to abroad is not a solution, because when you go away, you go for 2 years. That is a short-term something. The government can create structure in Kenya, like investing. For example, in Kenya, we are we focus more on agriculture. They should invest up in youth startup that create job opportunity. They do networking and mentorship with the professionals in the market. Then they link between the market, what is needed in the market, and what is happening in the university should come in line. So that when you graduate, you don't have to go to the market and also start. The problem you have in the market is not, it's like the employer who are employing, they have to retrain you on the course that you have already started to fit what is tailored in the market. So there is that mismatch between what is the design, and most of the people you see in the university, most of the time have been lecturers. They finish undergraduate, they transition back to masters to PhD. So there's nowhere they have interacted with the market, and they have no idea. So when they're crafting these courses, they should engage the market and see what the market needs, so that they can be integrated in the course.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right, interesting remarks. But then back to you, Kevin. The Federation of Kenya Employers, let me just point it out to you. It says some of the reasons why there's a lot of high unemployment rate right here in Kenya, it says it includes a lack of skills. And this includes up to 1 million young people enter the labor market each year without the right specific skills that are needed for that specific, job task or that opportunity. Another one is dropping out of school, and others is simply illiteracy. They never went to any learning institution, whether higher, lower, primary, secondary. But yet, they're also looking forward to get those opportunities. So when you look at it from the filter of that international perspective, yes, our cabinet secretary is sourcing for opportunities to go, outside this country. Do you believe maybe at some point we need to have a conversation as African citizens and reformatting starts from our education structure? It starts from the skill gap. In fact, they've mentioned the skill gap is one of the biggest. You're qualifying for this job. Yes, you studied for it, you have a degree, but you don't have the correct skills, but you only have theoretical skills, not hands-on practical skills. Do you believe we need to have such a setup?
Of course, definitely. Now, as a pro-African, I've got huge international background as well, okay? And I've got a company, London Oaks. We provide professional training for more than 20 years, strategy, and really we do something that is called RPL as well, which is recognition prior learning. And this is a must. I worked with the British government for over 14 years, okay, with the companies and with several government departments, but also with companies, and we were doing that. If you look at post 2008 in Europe, yeah, for example, Germany was having the same problem that Kenya is having right now. 2008, okay. What they did, they rebranded the whole system of training, professional training. And the thing is, you need to make the transit the training like into something more of quality. Let me explain that to you.
Okay.
For example, you go, you do a certain job, right? And you move from one job to the other, right? And you can get a letter of recommendation, right? But that doesn't prove you can do the job. That doesn't prove nowadays. You go for a company, 2024, they will not really take into account that job recommendation. So what you need is a certification of competency. That in Kenya we're doing that now in Kenya, but we don't have that much. This is something to rebrand the quality of training. Now people are dropping this. You see, the problem in Africa that we have is, like you said earlier, is the traditional system moving from high school, university, and then get a job and then build a family or whatever. Do you understand? And in first world country, it doesn't work like that, right? If we want to be a superpower, an economic boost or whatever, we need to start changing the mindset and cut down the traditional way of doing things and align ourselves into the correct evolution of consciousness and market. That's what we need. What is it? It is, if you're not good at school, it's not over. If you don't like going to school, it's not over. Some people may be more creative. So we need to assess the talents of these people and give them the opportunity to become entrepreneur, for example. Right? So there has to be a place for every single person to accommodate. The system has to accommodate different types of people. Some people want to become engineers, some people want to build up an engineering company. Both of them has to have the equal opportunity. In terms of going outside, you asked me about this, if it's not a solution. Right, probably we'll go into details about this.
It can be a temporary solution for now because the numbers are on an upsurge. Like it's tripling every day. I can imagine University of Nairobi is churning out thousands of graduates and add many other public universities. So all of these students are waiting for a job.
But let me ask you something.
What can we do temporarily?
Let me ask you something. Let's be honest here. Let me ask you something. Will a Muzungu from California leave Silicon Valley to come to Africa and look for a CEO of his tech company in America because he couldn't find it over there? Will the Germans leave Germany or the Europeans leave Europe, come to Africa to look for an engineer for their company because they can't find it? Will the Chinese leave China, Shanghai, to look for an engineer here because they couldn't find in their country? It's
possible.
No, wait a second. Let's see the facts.
Okay, set it.
Right?
Set it.
The problem is most of the investors that come to Africa, they come for two reasons. One, to exploit the African resources. One, to exploit the African people. All right? So we see that. You see, what's happening is we've been doing that since time of slavery. Okay, exploitation. This is part of our DNA, being exploited, right? So today when the Chinese come to Africa, do they use the African labor? Just go to the mall, you will see even the labor force is the Chinese force, right? They come, they bring their own people. They tell you, you African don't have the expertise. So the government, when bringing out foreign investors, they have to have a contract with them that you're going to train our people. In 6 months, 1 year time, you get the hell out here because our people is going to take over. Do you understand? Because this is our place. This is our country. If we don't secure our market, we're going to be tenants in our own home soon.
And is it because maybe we don't see opportunities in ourselves? We look up to the white man, and now that, you know, technology is there as well.
Yeah.
AI is taking over even the job market. In fact, last week we were highlighting a story of, I think it's Amazon,
Yeah.
that has deployed over 750,000 robots that are replacing part of their labor force, and they're sending home 100,000
Yeah.
workers to be replaced by robots. So that means human opportunities are being erased, and that is human labor erasure in the workspace. But here, right here in Kenya, we are still grappling with even, you know, finishing that degree you're studying for. You are uncertain whether, you know, the government is going to give you that opportunity.
Mhm.
So where do we even debunk that before I get to you, Fred, in just a bit?
Where do we, sorry?
Where do we debunk all that menace?
The thing is, like, the age of AI is gonna take over 40% of people's job in about 10 years, right? What we're experiencing right now, the employment is nothing compared to that what we're gonna experience in the near future. So if we're not ready to actually accommodate the age of AI, and we're ready to be prepared, because AI, it will help humans. It's gonna take over. Because the superiority, the capacity of the human brain is superior. We're always going to be ahead. But it's just that, you see, the young graduates here, they don't have the opportunities, right? So that's what I'm saying. We are more job seekers than job creators. If more support is given to entrepreneurs, these people, instead of going out, because it's a danger at the same. What the government is doing a good job. Like he's trying to share. You know, they need labor there. Okay, we're sending. Okay, it's not the solution because we're still selling African talents that we need to build our own country. But it's in a way, okay, he's trying to alleviate the burden of unemployment. But it's a slow pace. But it could invest into entrepreneurships here. That's what we need to understand, because there's huge opportunities. And I'm going to finish that before my colleague take over.
Sure.
Is like, for example, repatriation. You see, that is why it's important that we have a united Africa. Because look at what Europe did. People that, when Austria needed labor, they took from Spain. They have a chart there, they have a system there which is called repatriation of labor. They take people from different European countries because they're the same family, and they repatriate over there and there.
Right.
If in Africa we do the same, even better, we start like even in East Africa or in countries that are eligible for that, we can repatriate in our own continent, because we are a huge place, we need people. We don't need to go to you know, Qaeda or serve the Arabs, because it's dangerous over there a lot. Maybe we can talk about this later.
Yeah, we'll get into that. But then, Fred, before you react on the same, there's somebody who was telling me right here in Kenya, while you're schooling, you have you have around 5 jobs in between. You graduate, that's another job. Now you have the job of looking for a job. And by the time you're getting that job, it's another job. So you have like 3 jobs in between. Now you have to start keeping that job, because you have to again go through the training job. So you have like around 10 jobs in between, but yet you're not making money. But then he's mentioned something interesting about the government investing into entrepreneurship. But then also among the problems that Kenya is facing that causes unemployment is corruption. You would hear, I don't know, 10 billion was invested in a youth fund, and, you know, the money just disappeared. You know, money was allocated, I don't know to what docket, to support the youth in the name of Morara Kebaso, Isidore Haziko. Sasa, if you start looking at this, where do you get the possible solutions that I would say will start now infiltrating and penetrating into the spaces that can now, you know, allow the government to freely invest into spaces that will give young people opportunity, instead of like, you know, I don't know if it's dumping. Somebody said, stop dumping Kenyans into, you know, figuratively,
For example, you see, I'm not into the idea of exporting labor, because the young people have a creative mind. They have a creative and innovative mind. So if we import them, and their work they are going to do there is not even related to what they study, they are going to do the cleaning. That is like going to kill a dream already. So the government,
But then you don't have what anything to do in Kenya, why can't you go
Okay,
shortly?
so what the government can do is set up infrastructure, policies, and a framework that can give youth opportunity to grow. Like for example, if you see in the interest rate for the loan, they can invest in microfinance enterprises that give youth small loans to, and also
to do startups.
To do startup. And before they give them loans, they should also focus on incubation for those startups. They train them on how to run those startup businesses, and also in the youth fund they should increase more funding to the youth and ensure there is more public participation that is done, and also they get feedback of exactly where to invest and how and the possible outcome before they invest. Most of these things they go see an unrealistic plan that cannot even implement it on the ground. They invest in them, the money goes into the waste. So the government should also, in terms of the interest loan, to see the interest loan is around 14 to 20%.
Right.
They can give, like, for example, a tax holiday for the youths. They don't pay tax until they for a period of, let's say, 7 to 5 years, so that the youths can get an opportunity to develop. And also these companies employing youths, they can give and also some incentive or subsidies if they employ a certain number of the youths. And also there's these gaps in the market. There are jobs already in the market, but the problem is like you can come for example in this company, this government parastatal. You can find maybe from 19 or 202. There are a number of around 100 people have already retired. Some of maybe have passed away, but there is no that replacement to meet. So they are using the same people with the old technology, and also the market is somehow saturated.
Right.
They all don't encourage you to go. They see like there's a competition, they might be phased out by them. So there's a way our senior professionals, they don't support us. They think we are coming to face them out
to take over their spaces. I was listening to a TikTok podcast example. There's one of the Gen Zs who was saying that in Kenya getting a job is just is a full-time job. Full-time job to get another full-time job. Yeah. So he was saying that until you have those connections, you can have all the qualifications in the world, but that connection with that person that can speak your name or even pitch you to a potential employer is not there. But yet the influx and the number is just, in fact, I don't know how many graduates are going to be unleashed this year into the employment space, and not all of them are sure they're going to get opportunities like you've said, But then not also all Kenyans have this mindset of, you know what, instead of me tamaking to look for that internship, why can't I start my own, TikTok and monetize it? Why can't I come up with a business idea and pitch it to maybe a financier, or maybe pitch it to, a sponsor, somebody who can believe in me to start my own business, and that's startups. So there's also that culture and that deficit of just expansion of creativity, that spontaneousness that's lacking, Do you believe that should also maybe be included in our education system? Because like he said, it's traditionally, graduate, get your degree, in fact, get a job, get married, and then what next? Die? I don't know what happens in between,
in education system, there is the paperwork skill that you study in the education, and there is that inborn talent that you have. So the government should focus on also identify the other part. I may be doing engineering, but my focus is in politics.
Right.
It is in soccer, football, or running. So they should set up structure that develops skills.
Multi-skill,
for the people. So instead of importing the labor, when they invest more, for example, in the football, there are so many people I studied with them in primary. They are good at running, they are good at playing football, volleyball, but they are still in the village taking alcohol because their mindset was not in the textbook. They wanted to just get the knowledge, but their focus was more on the talent. So in high school and campus, we have those games and also those drama festival, the occasion they do. The government should go there and identify those talents, nurture them, and they can, so that they can go and represent even us up to the world. So they can focus more on the talent development, and also there are those who are good in books. They can also invest more there. But what they do in Kenya is just we compete to pass exam, not getting the knowledge. You read for the exam. For example, when I was in campus, the only time I was busy is only a week to exam. That is when I'm busy cramming to finish exam. They'll focus on
writing more Kenya.
And I had someone who was not good in books, but he was good when we go to the labs. He was very good. He do the setups nicely. But if and also I had another one. He doesn't know how to interpret a question. But if we interpret for him, he'll probably do it more than the lecturer. So they should, the way the university funding is student-centered, the skills should also be student-centered.
So let's say CBC is trying to give it a facelift. Would you say that, the CBC?
It is
slowly, but surely.
It is trying to do, but there is no infrastructure to do that. You see, let's say there's a school somewhere in Turkana. No classrooms, no books, no even the basics, things like food, water. So these things they should invest on infrastructure first, the infrastructure to support that. CBC can only benefit those who are around town, but those one in the village, I don't think if it is. So the bigger population is in the village, and the other population that is in town, they don't use. They go to international school and those upper school. But those public school in the village, I don't think if the students studying there, they are not even benefit at all.
Okay, interesting. Let me come back to you, Kevin. When you look at the demand on the market, even locally or globally as well, they're going for excellent people. In fact, I was watching, was it Shark Tank? There's a lady, no, it's not Shark Tank, it's Billionaire something, the Billionaire's Mindset. It's one of those entrepreneurship shows that deal with young people that have come up with ideas that are so excellent, business ideas specifically. And then the investor believes in that, you explain it very well, how it's structured, how it's going to benefit the people, not just you, but it must be able at least to employ 2 or 3 other people. So there's this lady, I think she got a huge amount. I think it was around $300,000 US. It was tea. So I don't know how she creatively branded Kenyan tea and made it in her own way, but because her family has a farm. So at least for her, she has something to claim, and use it so that, in fact, she's receiving funding for it. But also when you look at multinational agencies, they're not coming to help, people that are just so helpless. At least you must present to me something before I give you the funding. Of course, it's always about sponsorship. I have this project, I need donors or I need finances. When you look at what's happening in Kenya right now, do you believe there could be any sort of help to multinational agencies, from multinational agencies that are looking forward to, let's aid Kenya from this menace? In as much as it's not the first time you're experiencing this, it's systematic from regime after regime. It's just that this time round, I think it's on an upsurge.
Multinational from outside Kenya?
Yes.
Right. So this is called begging. We're still begging.
Right.
After 400 years, we're still begging to the West. There's a guy, Tony Elumelu. He's one of Africa's billionaire. Nigerian guy. He invests 150 millions every year on African entrepreneurship. And I've been part as a mentor, as an entrepreneur mentor in his program, training Africans, young Africans entrepreneurs. Africans are investing. Why in Kenya? The people of Kenya, the billionaire, the one that has a lot of money, why don't you support their own people? Why do we have to go to others outside Kenya? Kenya doesn't have money. Kenya has tons of money.
And resources.
And
rich in resources.
The amount of corruption we have here, that means we have a lot of money. So we, our own people, you see, the thing is, being entrepreneurs today, leveraging competitions internationally is good with creativity, but also, you know, money, when we talk about wealth, money is about 10% of wealth. Wealth, when it's called someone is wealthy or country is wealthy, there's respect, integrity, there's all of these factors that play. In order to become an entrepreneur, to leverage, if you go to the Muzungu's country in Europe, if you're out of integrity, you lie one time, you're off. You're off. Do you understand? So things that we are missing here, we're talking about investors, they can invest, maybe we can talk about this a little bit more, but we need to start becoming more in integrity with ourselves, respecting our own people, and also, you see, when you walk on the street, there's a lot of garbage. What does this mean? This means that we don't even respect our neighbor. We don't care. But when you go to Europe, everything is clean, and we want to live there. Why you want to live there? These people work hard to keep things clean there. They respect each other. If we Africans start respecting each other, then there will be progress. Then the people that has money, they will have a little bit more empathy. Instead of putting it in Switzerland, in the bank account, they will invest for the continuation and progress and evolution of this new Gen Z, which we need. That's what we call, you know, revolution, Gen Z revolution, African revolution. Africa's going to be a superpower, but unless our own people start investing in our own and stop begging for the West for money.
Because it's a mindset as well, I believe. It's
mindset, heart sets, skill sets.
But then also we pride ourselves as a country that feeds off agriculture.
Yeah.
And I believe that's green jobs as well. So if we were to, let's say, now look for investors who would come and start specifically investing in small, minute sectors in the agriculture economy, do you believe that can create opportunities for maybe a quarter of the job seekers that are still just hanging in between, waiting for a response to go to Qatar, Europe? In fact, we export a lot of nurses to Germany and Australia, and teachers as well. So if we were to create such opportunities here, I'm pretty sure we wouldn't be going through this crisis right now.
Yeah, the EPZ, Export Processing Zone in Kenya, is booming. That is a promising, the government invested a lot on that. That is a promising industry. But there's another catching point here. There's another problem that we face in Kenya when it comes to investors, right? Kenya's economy has been growing for 5% in the last few years, positive. But in order for we capitalize like an economy is healthy, there's different factors, sectors that is growth. Kenya has been growing in only 3 or 2 industry: telecommunication and infrastructure. You see, the investors that are coming to invest in Kenya, they are more what we call capitalized investment rather than labor investment. You understand? So when the guy is coming here, he's building infrastructure, he's bringing technology, he's not creating job because robots are already doing job. So the employment rate is still the same.
Or you're using Chinese to create that expressway and not Kenyan, laborers.
When the Mombasa and Nairobi expressway was created, there was 33,000 jobs. Today, it's gone down to 3,000 jobs. Now, the investment, look what happened. This is very tricky, and it's interesting. You see, they come with the technology, right? The top white collar are the expatriates and foreigners, Chinese. The labor one, the down, they are the Kenyans. So with technology, they're taking off these laborers that are at the bottom of the ladder. They're taking them out. They're getting out of jobs because robots, AI is replacing everything. While the upper part, the management, which is expatriate, they're keeping their jobs. That's how we're getting unemployment. That's why foreign direct investors are not helping Kenya to boost up the unemployment, to actually change the situation. Because more capitalized rather than labor.
Yeah, interesting. But Fred, when you look at it as well from what he's saying, these issues have always been there. Investors have always, I don't know, there's a deal that went sour. I don't want to mention it here, but Kenyans were saying if only they had considered, you know, the people of this country to even rebuild that airport instead of, you know, giving it to, you know, somebody else, that already would have created opportunities for us right here in Kenya. So do you believe maybe as well there's a point where we go off grid, and instead of us considering our very own, we prefer intellect, or we prefer skills from outside because they're deemed to be more competent, they're deemed to be more professional, and maybe perhaps they'll do the work 100% than our very own, and thus it renders us into this menace that we are in right now?
I don't think if we don't have skills in Africa or in Kenya. For example, if
what makes us to go for the Wazungus?
I
I
can-
don't want to mention the name, you know the name.
I can give you an example.
Yeah.
For example, in M-Pesa, it has gone globally.
Right.
Where did it started? It
Kenyan
started here in
invented it,
Kenya. Okay, let's go to PayPal. Where did PayPal started? It was invented here in KU by a student. So there's no way you can say, and also I'm a physicist. Most of there are black innovators that were behind all this astronomy you see in the US. They were slaves from Africa, but the people who carried the idea is, I can give you example of like, there's a guy who was good in the electric industry. The idea was his, but someone took it and branded as this. So we are so many people. When you see the whites, when they come to Africa, they do it as a competition. So they come with a competition. They say we want to do an innovation competition. So you don't have the patent, and then you are awarded some peanuts, and then they go, they implement the idea
as their
somewhere else.
own.
So the problem in
They've
Africa,
stolen from you
they
and
are
left
stolen.
you
You go to
unemployed.
somewhere else, you can't.
Yeah.
It is no.
I still also think the M-Pesa guy still believes they stole it from him. Did you hear that story?
He didn't. So the problem was about the patent, and also he was told you will be getting one bob per transaction. So and that
That's
time,
a lot of money. If
no, that
10,000
time
people.
he saw maybe in Nairobi there were only one branch for M-Pesa.
Oh, during that time.
During that when it was starting. So he saw, he was given around, I think, 1.5 million for that.
Yeah.
So he saw 1.5 million and 1 bob per transaction. Hey, when will I reach 1.5 million? So he went for but he didn't know this thing will revolutionize and employ. So that was the problem. So the problem is patenting of this innovation idea. There is no proper patenting of this idea, and there should be more structures on that, so that when youths are coming up with the new ideas and innovation, they are protected from predators, so that they cannot be snatched.
Exploited.
If you go to the street now, you talk to the youth, they have so many ideas, but implementing that, there is no finance to implement that. Even the project I did in an undergraduate, I can transition it to the market and create so many jobs. But if I start breaking down the budget of laying down the structure, I don't think if someone can finance that.
All right. We are exiting, Kevin, so I want you maybe to just in less than a minute, because it's 9:56, we have to exit at 10 a.m. sharp. What would you recommend for, you know, the Kenyan youth right now with what's happening and also what you've observed? What would you recommend, possible solution literally, that you would say that they can take in less than a minute as we exit?
There's two things that we need to take away is like rebrand our educational system in terms of not education completely, but professional. For example, this RPL that we do, the Recognized Prior Learning Certificate, which is internationally recognized, they have to rebrand their skills, rebrand their skills, their competency, and keep it in alignment with international standards so that they can leverage in national competitions, the quality of professional training, and also be more creative. And Angukanayo is good.
Tap into tech.
Yeah, Angukanayo is good, fall into the vibe, but damn, when it comes to competitions, China is not here to become your friend. Yeah, he's not here to dance with you. China was post-United States.
Yes.
So he's here to conquer everything.
Absolutely.
So if we're not prepared, we're gonna
we'll get left out. Oh, you have a LinkedIn profile where people can
I
jump
do.
in?
I do.
Okay, please
It's
say
my
very
name,
fast.
Kevin Bisesa. My LinkedIn profile. I've got also londonoaks.com, which is my company, and my profile, Kevin Bisesa, as entrepreneur as well.
Right. So if they jump in there, they can get to
Anytime,
talk to you
yeah.
anytime.
Yes, please.
Fred, just one recommendation, and then your social as we exit.
One recommendation I give to the youth is to show up. When you show up, you see things happening. So anywhere they hear an opportunity, let them show up. When they fail, they get it. Tomorrow is another day. But staying in the house won't make them exposed to opportunities.
Right.
And let them not be like Nikola Tesla. You invent idea. The final day, you should carry the credit of what you do, not someone else.
Okay, your social media, people can plug in with you.
Fred Mokua across all the social media
platforms. All right, thank you so much. That has been Kevin Bisesa. I'm sure you know how to get him on his LinkedIn and many other platforms. He's shared alongside Fred Mokua, a youth leader as well. Thank you, Sana, for sharing your insights today. All right. Sana, we also say thank you as well for trailblazing with us from 7 a.m. to right now. It's actually 9:59. We see you tomorrow bright and early right here, right in the morning. See you tomorrow.